almost heaven. Making burgers. Got that bacon, sprinkle on some lettuce. Life is over. Over for this pig. Made into a burger to make me pretty big. The burger night. Get the fries. It is time to begin making burgers. Burger mama, get the fries. Burger night. Vegans tried to take this from me, but I don't care. Climate change does not exist. There's my burger, right next to them fries. Misty taste of oil grease, teardrops in my eyes. Burger night, get the fries. It is time to begin making burgers. Burger mama, get the fries. Burger night. I hear a voice every hour and every minute telling me to make another burger once again. I don't have a problem, you're full of shit. I simply love the taste of this. It's so damn good. So damn good. The burger night. Get the fries. It is time to begin making burgers. Burger mama, get the fries. Burger night. The burger night. Get the fries. It is time to begin making burgers. Burger mama, get the fries. Burger night. Get the fries. Burger night. Get the fries. Burger night.
Yeah, yeah. Woo! Yeah, yeah. I love that song. Yeah. Yeah. So happy. So happy I have that song. Hi, Benson. Hi, Jank. Hi, Raven. Hi, Kanga. Hi, Ben. Hi, Captain C. Hi. 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 Hello. Hi. Hi. Hello. Hi. Are you guys here for the shot collar on the cats? I'm assuming that's what you're here for. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Fuck. All right, I'm kidding. I would never do that to my cats. All right, I would never do that. Or maybe. Hi, Mira. All right, chat. So I wasn't on yesterday, but that was simple. No, are you Mexican? I am not Mexican. I'm sorry, man. Brazilian lad, I'm sorry. I know you just got done watching. I forgot to say, thanks Gamma for the raid. I know you got done watching Gamma, and I know he's Mexican, and I'm sure you were hoping, but I am not. Who's gonna tell him it's not a shock collar? Yeah, the whole Hasan stuff, right? I don't want to get too deep into the Hasan stuff. I don't want to like dig really deep into it. There's one thing about it that like pisses me off. And I know this is gonna sound like a mass defense of Hasan, because who knows? He might have shocked his pet. He might have not. We don't fucking know. He could be lying. I don't know. But what pisses me off is that this guy, Hasan, he for years has been saying crazy shit on live stream. Crazy fucking shit on live stream. And usually that's okay. Usually that's, oh, everything's all right. But God forbid the guy shock collars his dog one time. And now all of a sudden, the fucking universe, everybody on Twitter, everybody in the world is just like, oh, fuck this guy, fuck this guy. That's the straw? That's the straw that broke the camel's back? That's the one? Out of all the things that Hasan has done, that's the one. Really? That's what pisses me off. People are like, it genuinely pisses me off. It's like, so, it's like, brother, this guy could get on a live stream. This Hasan guy could get on a fucking live stream. He could probably preach to his audience how he thinks an entire race of people should be fucking murdered and like completely eradicated from the face of the earth. But God forbid he shock collars a dog. Like, what the fuck? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Raven, I don't care if he... You want to hear my opinion? You want to hear my opinion of it? I don't care that he shock collared the dog. I don't care. I'm gonna be honest. Do I think... Let's say if this really was a shock collar, all right? Even if it was a regular shock collar and he really did shock collar the dog, I don't care. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't care. Like, I'm gonna be brutally honest. Millions of people put shock collars on their dogs to train them. Is it scummy? Yeah, it's scummy. But what the fuck are you supposed to... What are we gonna do? The dog is fine. The dog is fine. Like, I don't know what to... Like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. And I know this sounds like a mass defense of Hasan, but it's really not. Because I don't like Hasan. I think if he really does treat the dog poorly, he's a shitty person. He's been a shitty person. I believed he's a shitty person. So it doesn't surprise me. But let's just put it this way. Let's say Hasan really did shock the dog and the collar wasn't like some non-shock collar. And he faked it and he put tape over it to hide it. The whole thing that everybody's saying. Let's say he does shock the dog. It's the one time he's ever done it on live stream. Out of years of having this dog on live stream. Years of having this dog on live stream. And he hasn't done it once until randomly up until now. That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, I just, like, listen, it's fine. The dog is fine. Like, do I think he maybe isn't, like, the best pet dad? Sure. He's probably not the best pet dad. But, like, Jesus Christ, it's like people are like, this is what breaks this. This is the straw, which pisses me off. There's, like, content creators who unironically made fucking posts above, like, the video saying, like, I've tolerated Hasan for years, but I think I just can't do it anymore. Like, this is what I mean. Like, what the fuck do you mean? This is the one? This is it? This guy said we deserve 9/11. He doesn't give a flying fuck that a bunch of people died in a tragic fucking event. A tragic terrorist attack. He's, like, stated, like, multiple things about, like, Israeli people. He doesn't care if people, like, get regular human beings. He probably doesn't give a fuck if regular human beings get fucking killed. But that's fine. It's the dog that people care so much about. Like, fuck me, dude. Like, it's like, I care about pets. Like, here's the thing. I care about pets. I care about my pets. I care about pets. And when I see somebody treating a pet poorly, I'm like, yeah, that's fucked up. But, like, I'm gonna be blunt with you guys. I'm gonna be brutally honest. I'm gonna be blunt with you guys. If some guy was beating the living shit out of his girlfriend, I think that is insanely worse than a guy beating up a dog. I'm just going to be honest. A guy, like, beating the shit out of his girlfriend or just anybody is a worse person than somebody beating up a fucking dog. Okay? Like, what? I don't understand. I don't understand. We literally, you guys have to understand, we kill animals. We kill animals. You guys know this. We kill animals to eat them. Like, come on. We literally kill animals every single fucking day to eat them. But we don't kill fucking other humans, or we don't harm, like, other humans. Like, that's, like, fucked up. That's not excusing, like, dog, like, treating your dogs poorly, by the way. Like, you should never harm your pets. Cat, dog, whatever it is. You should never physically, like, manhandle them or harm them in any sort of way. Like, it's fucked up, right? But animals are on a different sphere than, like, humans. Like, the girl can defend herself if she wanted to, but the dog can't. So what? So what? What does that matter? The girl can defend herself when a guy is, like, beating the shit out of her? That's, like, fucked up and horrible. I think both people are, like, very bad, but trying to make an argument that, like, dogs deserve more, like, a care and attention than other human beings is, like, actually depressing. That's, like, genuinely depressing. Like, I'm sorry, but that's, like, actually fucked up. Like, humans are us. We are humans. Like, you gotta understand something. Like, we're all human. Seeing another human getting beat up and being like, I don't care. But then seeing a dog getting beat up and being like, oh, I care so much is, like, actually depressing. That's, like, fucked up. I care a lot if a human is getting, like, beaten to a pulp. I'm sorry, but I think humans beating up each other is, like, actually not good. Raven is a furry, point invalid. Marcus is a grass ghost type Pokemon for Halloween. That would actually be a good one, yeah. Grass ghost type? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Marcus is all grr tonight. I am. I'm pissed off. This fucking Hasan shit, like, is annoying. Like, listen, I like I said, if it really is a shock collar, that pains me. That upsets me. Like, the idea that he, like, did it is fucked up, right? Like, you should... The dog, there's no reason there's no reason to shock your dog on the inside of your house. There's no reason for him to have a shock collar in the house in the first place, in my opinion. I don't even think there's a reason to put a shock collar on your pet. I really don't. I don't think there is a reason to do it. But there's millions of people who fucking do it every day. I highly, highly doubt the dog is going through any sort of mental strain from Hasan. The dog seems perfectly fine. The dog seems like it's fine. He's had that dog in streams for years. It seems fine. It doesn't seem like it's having any sort of, like, I don't think I've ever seen an instance where that dog seems like it's going through some sort of, like, mental strain. So, like, what is the argument here? Like, what is the point? Animals can't do things we can. It makes me feel bad when bad things happen to them because they're defenseless. They can't speak for themselves or fight back or anything. Oh, yes, cool. Yeah, but Nox, what does that matter? If a human being is going up to another human being like their girlfriend and beating the living shit out of them to the point of, like, possible death, you don't think that's, like, messed up? You don't, like, think that's, like, messed up at all? I think both instances are bad. Like, I'm saying both instances are bad, but I think we should probably care more if a human being is willing to kill another human being, more so kill an animal. I think it is worse if a person is willing to kill another human over killing, like, an animal or something. Humans are animals? Yeah, but we're our own, like... Okay, we're obviously, like, highly intelligent, extremely highly intelligent. Like, we're extremely highly intelligent people. And they're also us. Like, we should be caring for each other. Like... It's depressing when we see people kill each other, right? Like, when we see other people going against one another and killing each other, that's, like, fucking sad and depressing. Like, seeing other humans, like, beat the shit out of each other and kill other people, that's, like, fucked up. That's sad. We're, like, supposed to be, like, one. We're supposed to be, like, united. We're not. We're, like, very obviously divided. That's, like, sad. That's, like, depressing. Hi, Abby. Raven, you changed your name too much? That is true. It's like how I'd feel bad for a kid being beaten than an adult. I guess that is fair. True. I guess, to be fair, true. I would feel bad more for a kid than an adult because I do understand your point of, like, it's the defenselessness of, like, beating a dog is, like, it's this innocent creature, you know, you're beating the shit out of it. But my point stands more so that it's, like, my point more so is that I'm upset that people are mad at Hasan for this and not the countless of other things. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm upset with. I understand the outrage of like treating your dog like shit. I get it when creators get like fucking basically shit on and by like everybody when they like treat their pets like shit. I understand that. I think treating pets unfairly and poorly is terrible and you should never do it. But I just get annoyed when it's like, that's what breaks like, it's like Alinity. Alinity is like an example where it's like, that bitch was like an annoying, horrible person who would say like fucked up shit. But the one thing that finally broke the straw was the animal abuse. And I think that's like great. She's finally getting like fucking her deserved shit, right? But why is this the part that finally breaks it for everybody, you know? Shocking a dog is far worse. That's okay, Raven. You might actually be like fucking retarded. You might actually be like really retarded. You say things sometimes that makes me think you're based in Epic. Then you engage in pony fiction terrorism. Hi, Nate. All right. The 2 forms of content I have today is I was going to go over this on 2 nights ago. I was streaming at night, by the way. You guys missed it on Tuesday. Geo, if you guys know who Geo is, he came on and we talked. But I was going to watch this, but we ended up just kind of talking and I ended up gaming because it was a little too late to watch this. Shocking a dog is far worse than saying stuff online. It's really not, Raven. It's really not, dude. Like, in the context of what Hasan has said, I'm saying like that's what destroys, like that's what changes it. Like shocking a dog is not the end of the world, dude. Like a lot of people do it, and a lot of people do it for the purpose of like training their pets. Do I think that's the ethical way of doing it? No, I don't think it's the ethical way of doing it, but people do it. Usually it doesn't affect the dog unless you're doing it on an extreme degree. All right, like if you're doing it on an extreme degree, yeah, it's going to affect the dog. When you do it on like a lower level, typically it doesn't affect the dog. But like when you get on live stream and you're like saying like horrible shit, like how you think like a group of individuals are like deserve to be like raped or deserve to be like killed or deserve like this, and you create like this foundation and community where like everybody basically lives and breathes your opinion. Yeah, that's like pretty dangerous compared to like fucking shock collaring your dog once. Shock collaring your dog once. Like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Raven. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there is a lot more harm being done when a person like gets on stream and talks about how they believe like an entire race of people are so evil they deserve like horrible things happening to them, and you build an entire community around that to the point where people like just regurgitate it, and it creates more harm than good. I think shocking a dog once on stream is probably not the fucking end of the world, okay? The dog's okay. The dog's gonna live. The dog's... Raven, I'm sorry I have to break this to you, but the dog is okay and it's gonna live. All right? It's fine. I don't think I have, and like I said, I don't think I've, about hating Indians. What are you talking about? I make an Indian accent. But I don't think I've ever seen a moment where that dog has, like, ever shown any signs of, like, abuse. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a moment where that dog has been, like, abused on stream, or you've seen it, like, show signs of, like, abuse on stream. His dog seems like it's fine. It seems like the dog is, like, happy. If anything, here's what I think. If he really did shock the dog, I think it's fucked up. And I think it is completely okay to dog on him and to shit on him for it. Yes! Raven! Brother! Shocking a dog does barely anything! What is it gonna do? What is it gonna... Raven. saying horrendous and fucked up shit online and building a community around it to the point where you have people regurgitating like horrible fucked up shit is probably a lot more harmful than shock collaring your dog. It still hurts the dog? Brother, the dog doesn't show signs of abuse. It yelped once and he did it once on stream. Sure, I feel bad. Sure, I think it sucks. It's not cool. But like, brother, that's not the end of the world. You have no evidence that the shock was at a level high enough to cause pain or damage, let alone whether it rises to the level of abuse. That is true as well. You have no fucking clue. You have literally zero clue. Like, what are we talking about? I'm jorking my peanuts to Marcus getting mad.
This is not about Hasan anymore! There is no way in hell you think saying NHH Online is far worse.
When did I ever say that? When did I say that, Gambom? When did I say that? Can you pinpoint to me? Can you pinpoint to the part where I said that's an NHH? Are you, Raven? I think you might actually be like fucking retarded.
Shocking a dog is not worse than going online.
Raven,
and
do you genuinely think what Hasan did is that egregious? Do you really think his dog?
This
is like
ain't
going
about
like...
Hasan anymore. It's about shocking a dog and thinking it's less bad than saying stuff online. One is
this
worse
is all
than
this
the
is
other.
all this is obviously, yeah, but this is obviously like dependent on what you're saying and what you are, how you're shocking the dog. Like, this is all dependent. Yeah, you're right, Raven. Like, if a guy is like on stream, or not even on stream, but just in general shocking their dog to a point where it's like extremely painful, is way worse than saying like NHH Online, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm saying what we're looking at right now. I'm not talking about like in a hypothetical scenario where like the dog is getting like fucking profusely abused, right? I'm talking about like the Hasan situation. Like, because this all is dependent. This is all extremely dependent. A light
Scripted don't know, kick me. Got it.
That, like, if you interpret what I'm saying as saying like any form of shocking and any form of saying anything online is like that's way worse, you're like actually retarded. It's all dependent. It is extremely dependent. Yeah, if some guy is like shocking a dog to an insane degree to a point where it's like hurting it and harming it, then like, yeah, that's like way worse than saying NHH Online. But I'm talking about like literally like Hasan's situation. I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm saying like if you did what Hasan did, right? That is not on the same degree as like what Hasan has said in the past. He said some pretty heinous shit. He said some pretty crazy shit. And I think it's kind of crazy that like the internet takes what he says and doesn't really give a shit. Sorry, I need water.
Nathan Soy Adam. Mute yourself. Turn on the video.
No! Let me finish. And then there's a difference between like fucking Hasan probably lightly shocking the dog and then having it like do training and sitting. And then like fucking saying egregious shit about how you think like Americans deserve 9/11 or how you think like Israelis are like horrible, they deserve to be like raped. Like, I think that's like pretty egregious compared to like lightly shocking your dog. Like, it's insane how people like take that and they think it's like that evil. It's not that big of a deal.
Hi,
Also, I'm gonna cover this video first. We might get to this one, I don't know.
Terry Davis. I'm the smartest programmer that's ever lived. I was chosen by God to make his temple. I was given divine intellect.
Terry A. Davis, also known as King Terry the Terrible or God's Lonely Programmer. The amount of mystery, melancholy, admiration, and disdain held for this name is unlike that of any other internet figure. Some have likened him to the Kanye West of programming. Brilliant, but with a career marred by prejudice and mental illness. Others say he is the real-world representation of Rick Sanchez, a genius being hunted down by the federal government for his intelligence. By others still, he is seen as a joke, a lunatic, and a racist, whose work could be accomplished by any programmer with enough time and dedication on their hands, but would ultimately be pointless anyway. Regardless though, his unique combination of intelligence and dedication, as well as his clear mental illness, was able to attract the fascination of millions, for better or worse. In this way, he could be considered an early lolcow, and his story speaks to the perils of those afflicted by psychotic disorders and their presence on the internet exacerbating these problems. Following his death in 2018, and a few viral videos documenting him and his work, there have been few mentions of him, and little has changed from his story. However, within the last few months, there has been a resurgence of chatter about Terry. TikTok posts about him have been getting hundreds of thousands of likes, and most importantly, many in the comments seem to have a very different opinion of him than most had during his life. They declare him as the smartest programmer to ever live, a genius who either suffered from mental illness or was genuinely correct in his conspiracies about the CIA. The Temple OS subreddit, centered around Terry's life's work, remains active to this day, with people making tributes to his work and memorializing his life. This resurgence and its remarkably different tone than that of those who followed his life over 7 years ago is intriguing, and it's not clear what led to people seeing him in this new light. In this video, we will explore the tumultuous life of Terry Davis and the developments of his online presence, both during his life and after it. Let's take a look at God's chosen programmer, Temple OS, and their tragic origins.
I am the most important human ever. God's gonna fuck your shit up. CIA's fucking atheists. They won't know what the fuck hit them.
Well, it's good to be king.
Terrence Andrew Davis was born on December 15, 1969 in Wisconsin, as the seventh of 8 children in a family that moved around frequently. He was exposed to technology in his youth, as his father was an industrial engineer, and he was able to use the Apple II computer in elementary school, going on to learn assembly language on a Commodore 64 in his teenage years. Additionally, according to him, he would show early signs of superior intelligence, scoring well in the SAT and becoming a national merit finalist, as he iterates very respectfully. Interestingly, Terry would later say that he had cheated on the SAT by talking with others, but at this point, any claims he makes should be taken with a grain of salt. He would go on to earn a master's degree in electrical engineering from Arizona State University in 1994, remarking that it was superior to computer systems engineering because it used, quote, real math, perhaps foreshadowing his ego and his skill with technology. At this time, he was also employed by the company Ticketmaster. Soon afterwards, from 1996 and onwards, Terry's mental illness started to flare up, and he would find himself hospitalized every 6 months or so for recurring manic episodes, initially being diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Though he had been an atheist and someone who believed in the advancement of technology until this point, he claimed to have experienced a revelation from God, being saved and receiving the direct
https://youtube.be/9gspelv1 if question mark c equals r7 x 64 koyat free on.
In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you fear. You are called.
Man, I don't want to show this, man. What the hell, man? This is fucked up, man. I don't want to show this, man. These are all Hasan's pets. Nate! Guys, he's literally telling funny jokes and you're trolling. My timer ran up. My timer ran up. I can't believe Marcus said a slur. No more hard R's, man. You were to be seen and not heard, Marcus. Back to your trad wife position now. Man, this video's fucked up, man. I don't want to show this video, man. What the fuck, man? Hey, man. Oh, hey, kitty.
Hi, I'm Sarah McLaughlin. Will you be an angel for a helpless animal? Every day,
She still
innocent
do
animals
these?
are abused, beaten, and neglected, and they're crying out for help.
Does she still do these?
Please call the number on your screen and join the BC SPCA with a monthly gift right now.
Hell yeah,
For
dude.
just
Fuck yeah. Those
$18 a
cats are
month,
awesome.
Only 60 cents a day. You'll help rescue animals from their abusers and provide medical care, food, shelter, and love. Call or join online in the next 30 minutes.
Thought she was
and you'll
dead.
receive
Is Sarah? Is she dead? Did she? Hold on. Now you're making me curious. No way she died. Oh no, she's okay. She's alive. She's alive. She's alive. She's doing well. She's doing
welcome kit with the photo of an animal in the shelter right now. One who's been given a second chance. Thanks to you.
well. One day my cat's gonna show up on one of these ads. She doesn't stop biting my legs when I sleep. True.
Right now, there's an animal who needs you. Your call says, I'm here to help. Please call right now.
Man, that was fucked up, man. This video's like 20 years old. I know. I remember seeing that like when I remember seeing all those like Sarah McLaughlin ads like years ago when I was a little kid. Force your cat to watch these commercials to see how good she's got it. Look at how good you've got it, buddy. Quit acting up, pal. It's like my cats. It's like my fucking cats. Trying to go to bed, you know, me and my wife laying in bed, and then all of a sudden outside the door, I just hear Taco and Ginger, just those two, just meow, 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 meow. Shut the hell up! Shut up! No, I'm okay with it. I actually can sleep through the meows. My wife can't, though. She gets pissed.
Directive that would guide his life's work from then on, creating God's temple.
Cat Smacko.
Interestingly, Terry would describe himself as similar to atheists.
Oh, so I'm up to the... I know the part when he talks about glowies, okay? So he talks about glowies. And I'm just trying to figure out something, because Jimbo said something very curious. He said something about job? He said something about like a fancy... Like, he's a glowy, dude. He's a fucking glowy, dude. Jimbo's a glowy, and he works for the goddamn government, and this guy should not be trusted. This guy's a goddamn glowy.
But more as an atheist who God has talked to. He would also develop paranoid beliefs about aliens and government agencies, which would persist for the remainder of his life and become a large part of the internet attention surrounding
I'm inside
him,
your Intel
especially regarding
CPU.
the CIA. In response to these fears, Terry would drive frantically
By the
for
way,
hours.
By the way, Cryptid, thank you for the 2 5s. And yeah, I was mute for 5 minutes. That's why you guys didn't hear me the first time around. I was mute.
Eventually dismantling his car in search for tracking devices, before throwing his keys away and walking in the Arizona sun. After being picked up by a police officer, he broke his collarbone attempting to escape. And, fearing the presence of alien artifacts being found on his x-ray, he tried to carjack a truck, at which point he was arrested and finally sent to a mental hospital. Terry's diagnosis was eventually changed from bipolar disorder to schizophrenia. And following these events, he would have fewer of these episodes, becoming, in his own words, crazy in a different way.
Hi, New Edge Hydra.
He would also say that he recognized...
I don't even think I ever said hi to everybody. Hi, Nate. Hi, Captain C. Hi, Raven. Hi, Kanga. Hi, Jimbo. Hi, Mira. Hi, Hi, Goat. Hi, Cryptid. Hi. Let's see. Am I missing anybody? Hi, Ben. Hi, Dude Nugget. Hi. I think that's it. Hi, Nox. Hi, everybody.
How this religious revelation could be written off as a product of his mental illness, but that it was genuine. In keeping with these religious sentiments, Terry would attempt to give away his possessions and live a nomadic
You like
lifestyle.
cats? Hi, Benson. Benson.
Like I found a songbook. No, it wasn't really like homeless. It was more like give all your money away and go walk around with the fucking homeless and shit.
However, he would ultimately end up living with his parents in Las Vegas, receiving disability benefits due to his schizophrenia. Though he would continue to have issues with his mental health, and much of his activities were dictated by what many would see as delusions, it has been reported that he always remained lucid when discussing computers, something that would remain true even in his stint of homelessness near the end of his life.
Marcus, I have a second interview tomorrow. Can I get 5 big booms? Boom! 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 There you go. 5 big booms.
Before jumping to Terry's magnum opus in Temple OS,
Hi,
I'd
Big
like
Aaron.
to touch a bit more on his apparent racism, the perception of which stems from his gratuitous use of the N-word, as well as his conspiracies about the
Here it is. I gotta read this myself. CIA Mriggers, in one widely circulated YouTube video, he claims that the CIA Mriggers glow in the dark, and you can see them if you're driving. You just run them over. He would coin the term glowy, which is based on the aforementioned phrase, would later be used to various far-right online groups to denote an undercover federal agent or informant. And then, when I fight Satan, I use the sharpest knives I can find. I pissed off Brow earlier, didn't I? You did, Aaron. You did.
Central Intelligence Agency and their efforts to
Hi,
antagonize
Benson, what's up?
him, and how these are intertwined. Fundamentally, it seems that Terry's main belief about the CIA is that it is comprised of atheists, and that they mock religion and the ideas of the Bible, as well as make efforts to sabotage his creation of the Third Temple.
God's gonna fuck your shit up. CIA's fucking atheists. They won't know what the fuck hit them. That they are so fucking vulnerable. The CIA is
What happened?
atheist.
Jimbo, Aaron I was in call with Mrao earlier on his stream, and Jimbo, God, I keep saying Jimbo. Aaron came in and he was just like, God, man, Marcus, can you go live? This guy's fucking boring. And then Mrao kicked me out of the call and he was like, fuck you. He was like, fuck you. If you want him so badly, then I'm going to kick him out of the call and you'll go live for you. Just for
They
you.
are fucked.
Or at least that is one conclusion that can be gathered from within hundreds, if not thousands, of clips of Terry referencing them. Instances which are
Watch God royally fuck the CIA. The CIA is not clear on concept of random divine oracle. They thought I was joking about CIA surrendering to the IRA. IRA demands CIA surrender to God. You started a war on God, CIA. Now you surrender. The CIA must surrender to the IRA and the in the World War I French rail car. Then the world, the whole world will build God's temple like the Contact movie.
are almost always accompanied by racial or homophobic slurs. He would also express other conspiracies surrounding the federal agency, such as that Muslim terrorists are CIA psyops made to drive people away from religion. In 2015, he tweeted, "The CIA is at war with God. Crazy Islam N-words is the CIA coaxing people towards atheism." This was accompanied with similar statements about the CIA and God being
CIA is at war with God. God will win, lol. All of a sudden, CIA dies. All of a sudden, CIA dies.
at war. He has also said that CIA agents are disguising themselves as forum users to spread misinformation about technology, as well as to speak directly to him.
He's creating misinformation. Okay, or he could be talking to me.
This guy's a fucking genius, by the way. I want you guys to understand this. This guy's a goddamn genius.
Okay.
Many of his beliefs about the CIA were also tied to the advancement of technology, as he was immensely distrustful of external influences on technology, believing that modern tech was created with the sole intention of taking away the agency of its users.
Flappy
He
Birds?
claims that this was all part of their efforts to create ignorant and submissive people to rule over.
The CIA wants people to be dumb cattle that are so stupid they just watch TV and chew their cud. That's the dream of the CIA. Whoopee-yay, you cattle. We got 5 billion cattle that chew their cud.
Chew
and
their
can't do
cud.
shit. Why?
Does he have a
are the
fucking
best
bird?
cops-
Does he have a bird? I hope that bird's enjoying his cud. Fucking CIA chewing on their fucking cud.
Trying to be tiny? It's because it's a CIA plot to move computing into the cloud. They want billions of cattle that can't do and are docile and just. That's their utopia, is a bunch of.
Sounds like a
cattle
bird to
just
me,
sit around
Nate.
and-
This is also likely tied to his decision to create his operating system based entirely on his own coding language and compiler, to minimize external influences and manipulation. Some fans of Davis would later go on to claim that this was actually a cautionary tale
Terry gets a
foreshadowing
pass
the
for owning
rise
a
of
bird.
AI, and that he was right all along about the advancements of
You know
technology.
what cud is,
though
right?
this,
I
of
don't know
course,
what cud is.
just
I just assumed he meant food. Like, he's saying, like, their cud is food. Or, like, schlop. He's like, I imagined cud meaning, like, schlop. Like, they're just chewing on their schlop.
one of many interpretations. The term CIA N-words is entrenched in Terry's lexicon, as well as glowies, coined from a viral clip of Terry claiming that the agents, which happen to be of African American descent, glow in the dark.
The CIA glow in the dark. You can see them if you're driving. You just run them over. That's what you do. Fucking CIA.
Glowy has also
Dude. Yes. You just fucking run them over. It makes me curious, right? Like, he says he's seen CIA agents, like, glowing in the dark. Like, what if one of these days it's actually just a person and he just hits one of them, you know? Like, and he's just gotten away with it. Cut his dried grass, pretty sure. Or, like, hay. Oh, okay.
become used by far-right online groups to refer to undercover federal agents. Now, this extremely
First thought
abrasive
was chewing
rhetoric certainly
tobacco.
made Terry a controversial figure, and to this day many
guess that's
condemn
fair.
him, writing him off as a hack and a racist. It is true that the usage of this word is extremely excessive, and oftentimes in a derisive context. But at the same time, there are some, such as psychologist Victoria Tischler, who claimed that Terry's behavior was greatly exacerbated by his mental illness, and that it is possible that his language does not stem from a place of discrimination or prejudice.
It seems unlikely that Terry was inherently, a violent or racist person, but through his illness, some of these antisocial behaviors became apparent. And that's something really common to people with severe mental health problems. They become very socially isolated for that very
Marcus,
reason.
I ate a burrito that's 2 pounds. I'm fat and evil now. That's fucking awesome, Cryptid. I'm proud of you. I'm proud that you can down such a large burrito. Cows basically eat their own vomit. They eat grass. It goes to stomach 1, comes back up as cud that gets chewed forever and gets swallowed into the stomach. Jesus Christ. And these CIA agents, they're just chewing on their own cud?
Additionally, in an article about Terry
Jeez.
entitled Schizophrenia and Genius, author Winston Alden, who claims that his father also suffered from schizophrenia, wrote, "It doesn't take long for the viewer to realize that Davis had latched onto the term CIA N-word to refer to anything that makes him feel paranoid or oppressed, and in true paranoid fashion, he sees plots everywhere. It becomes impossible to ascribe genuine racist or homophobic intent to it. During moments of clarity, he is not so abrasive." Viewing many clips of him online gave me the same impression.
Yeah, but he's right,
that
though.
it seemed in manic states, Terry would assign this awful label to anyone he saw as dangerous, or just as less intelligent as himself, to the point that it almost lost all meaning.
I do have some opinions on actual. Mostly I deal with white people in my day-to-day life. 95% of white people are basically, not technical. Just like, but the easiest way to explain it is they're not fighting everything.
What?
I'm not a racist. I just don't like what was wrong with the command line.
I'm not racist. I just don't like when finish it, Terry. Imagine just being like, I'm not racist, but I just don't like this group of people. I do not like them. I hate them for their race. Stomach 1 doesn't fully digest the food. I think a lot of herbivores with super high fiber diets do this so they can digest it. I just realized we're watching the Temple OS guy. Yeah, Terry
What's wrong with
Davis.
the command line? Why can't I use FTP? I have to use FTPS. Some crazy fucking thing.
So
Regardless,
something
though,
of
this
fine.
charitable view was not held by everyone who came across Terry and his story, and this would certainly earn derision and ridicule from those who already wrote off his coding endeavors, further contributing to the opinion that his projects too were the ravings of a madman. Additionally, as we will explore later, Terry's paranoia would become amusing to a certain corner of the internet, who would set out to exacerbate his delusions, as well as create some more of their
That's
own.
what Jimbo was
As
saying.
previously mentioned, Terry also had paranoid beliefs centering around space aliens. He would later describe Temple OS as an alien trading post, connecting Earth to another dimension with which it could trade information. This exchange of cultures was seen as a replacement for bringing goods up to Mars, as Elon Musk said that this would not be economical.
You know, Elon Musk was talking about if we had a
He's
Mars
so awesome,
colony.
dude. Well, Terry Davis, Nate, is more like, how do I put this? He's like the Neil deGrasse Tyson of like programming, dude. He's like the greatest programmer of all time. He's like the smartest man, probably the most like intelligent man I think I've ever seen. All right, that's what I think of Terry Davis.
We wouldn't transfer goods. It wouldn't be economical to transfer goods. So,
Well, actually, that's a good question. I have actually a good question, right? Let's say somebody's like schizophrenic, like super schizophrenic, and they really do like dislike like a race of people, but that's because like in their mind like they're scared of them because of like their schizophrenia. Like they have like a fear of like the race because of like their schizophrenia. Like what if like the creatures they see just look like them, like aka black people? That's what I'm saying. And then they're just like, oh fuck, I don't like that. So they get like really scared and it's like really bad. Like would it really be racist? Would it really be racist at that point? Because it's like at that point, like, you know, they think they're seeing like the demons, you know, every time they see them. I don't think you can really blame a schizo for anything they believe. Well, okay, that's good then. That answers my question. So they're not racist then. Awesome. I think black people are blood elves. Black people might be like actual evil incarnate, man. It seems like it, according to Terry.
what you could transfer is information. In a way, this is misleading, but this explains how it works. Temple OS is a space alien trading post, and you trade over a...
No, Nate, I know who Terrence Howard is. I know who Terrence Howard is. 1 × 1 does actually equal 2, Nate. That is true.
Let's call it a radio to another dimension.
However, he would immediately state that this was an overly blunt analogy,
Sorry, Captain
and
Cinco,
Terry's
sorry.
views of
Sorry.
aliens did not always have such a profound feeling. In a likely lost video, a user describes that Terry speaks of a space alien, also referencing Bill Gates and the Illuminati.
Oh, Abby. Is Abby
before
still
going
here?
on to
Abby, I
claim that
watched one
said
of your
alien
movies. I
gives
still got to
him
get through the
pleasure
other ones, though,
of
by the way, Chad.
oral nature. With many of
I'm
these
gonna get
eccentric
through.
beliefs...
Sorry for pausing a lot, but I'm gonna get through a bunch of them on the weekend. I got a little busy. That's why I wasn't on stream yesterday. I got a little busy on Tuesday, so I had to do stuff. I did stream at night, and then I got a little busy on Wednesday, and then my wife took me out on a date. When I was gonna get on stream, but then my wife was like, "Oh, I want to take you out." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll do that." So she took me out on a date.
Terry would naturally become the subject of online spectacle, with many fascinated by his views, some ridiculing them and some going so far as to go along with a few. But beyond this, his fixations, mainly that of receiving messages from God, led to the largest undertaking of Terry's life, something that he would embark on with such an obsession that it is still the subject of admiration or mystery to this day. In the beginning there's darkness. The screen erupts in blue, then a cascade of thick, white hexadecimal numbers and cracked language, unused SDK, and allocate memory. Black screen cedes to blue and white, and a pair of scales appear, crossed by a sword, both images drawn in the jagged, bitmapped graphics of Windows 1.0 era clip art. Light gray and yellow on a background of light cyan. Blue text proclaims, God on tap. This is an excerpt from the...
Chad, I gotta piss. Nate, entertain them. Say things to them. Teach them about, like, old shit, because you're old. Nate strays. Nate, how often do I get a car wash? I'm sorry. I don't know why I found that. I don't know why I found that funny. I just. Once upon a time, what was the Nixon administration like, Nate? Once upon a time, long before many of you were born, stuff happened, and now we're here.
Vice article, God's Lonely Programmer, a piece by Jesse Hicks that contains many insights about Terry A. Davis, gleaned from numerous emails he sent in at all hours of the night. It's just one of many examples of the recognition Terry has received for his work, due to its unique and enigmatic nature. Everything from OS News and Hacker News to Reddit and 4chan, and eventually mainstream sources like YouTube and Vice, would take note of this project and its fascinating origins.
This game is dope, dude. I want to play that game.
The development of Temple OS, and many instances of online discourse surrounding it, but ultimately Terry claims that God came to him in a revelation, and chose him to create the successor to the Second Temple in Jerusalem.
I believe him.
He also claims that God commanded him to use only 640 by 480 resolution, 16-bit colors, and a single audio voice. He even created his own programming language, known as Holy C, which was seen as in between C and C++. Not only did he create his own language, but his own compiler, and the operating system consisted of over 120,000 lines of code, written all by himself. In the aforementioned Vice article, he detailed how he lived on a sleep schedule of 16 by 2 awake and 8 by 2 sleeping, consumed large amounts of caffeine, and spent the vast majority of his time working on his temple. This has since been compared to a single man building a skyscraper, and is the
to be honest, man, that's actually like really fucking awesome and impressive. You gotta understand something, man. That's crazy. He created his own fucking language. He's got Temple OS and everything. Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe, listen, maybe he's a little crazy, okay? Maybe he's just a tad bit crazy. Who knows? He might be just a little crazy. But does it matter? Does it really matter? I think he's right. I think he's right. I think he is the second coming of... I think he is. I think God came to him and he told him to make this... He told him to make this. I believe him. I believe him.
Reason some hail Terry as the smartest programmer of all time.
To finish the development of his OS, he wrote 121,000 lines of code. A computer engineer compared this accomplishment to a one-man built skyscraper. That's why the statement that he is the smartest programmer that has ever lived might not be exaggerated.
He was also able to make entire animations or games with Temple OS, clips of which have become particularly important in the emerging view that he was brilliant beyond comparison.
Oh, dude, this guy is so fucking awesome.
I wonder why I didn't put this in the games. I think I have the games. I spent about 30 minutes making this game.
Though many of these were simply meant to be demonstrations.
30 minutes is
I
crazy.
refuse
That's
to
fast.
rip off the original, so this is intentionally crappy and included for demonstration purposes. Write games, don't play them.
The operating system homepage was able to present animations and songs, which Terry called hymns, despite being in text mode, which was seen as
Can't
very
program a
unique.
portal to bring Zach back. Don't worry, man. Don't worry, man. Maybe one day he'll come back, okay? Extra sauce. Are you guys talking about fucking pizza toppings, dude? Are you guys like discussing the discourse of like pizza toppings? Nate, I have a fucking sneaking suspicion you're a New York Giants fan, and I'm sorry, man. I mean, honestly, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. I just wanted to let you know.
Animated icons, as well as, just general icons on this menu, despite the fact that it is text mode.
Yeah.
He created a special file format that allows him to insert those things along with songs and other stuff into what is essentially just an ASCII file.
Huh.
And
Terry had created a self-sufficient system with an unfathomable amount of time and effort, and in his eyes, a way to communicate with God, mainly through random number generators.
I hate things all. I hate all things New York on
PC
principle.
operating system. It has an Oracle. That's why it's called Temple OS. The main purpose is for doing offerings and of hymns and art and poems and
Victic.
stuff, and then getting a response from
Cryptid,
God
you gotta
in the
just
Oracle.
you gotta
It is
shut the
ultimately
eyes,
a way
man.
for
You
users
just
to
gotta shut
tinker
them.
and make their own games, offerings, animations, hymns, or anything else they want in order to make
It'll be
contact
okay.
with God.
It'll
and
be
is seen
okay,
as somewhat
Cryptid.
of a coder's playground. It should be noted that people far more knowledgeable about programming have taken notice of Temple OS, and the general takeaway from larger personalities seems to be that it is extremely original and unique, though initially a struggle to understand, and that it is a sign of Terry's genuine talent.
It makes you wonder, just how talented this guy was before,
things happened.
It's if nothing else, this demonstrates quite a breadth of skill.
Though it is true that since his death, many have come to say how unique and impressive his work was, this was not
Cryptid,
always
you're going
the
into
case.
diabetic
In
shock.
fact, most, if not all, of the reception during the process of
You
his
gotta let it
creation
take you,
was
Cryptid.
that of ridicule.
You'll make it
mixed
out
with
alive,
some
I promise.
curiosity and sympathy. It was during this long process that Terry's presence became truly known on the internet. The project began as J Operating System in 2004, as something that was intended to become a higher speed version of the Commodore 64,
forget Notch's
an
decent
8-bit
at
computer
programming.
released in
Isn't-
1982.
didn't he,
According
literally
to
create
Terry,
Minecraft
the
by
project was
himself?
mainly meant to run video games, and not to run internet connection, as this would be reinventing the wheel. It was also intended to encourage oddball software.
Yes,
In one of the
Blue,
first
yes,
instances of internet
Blue.
attention being attracted to Terry, J
Yes.
Operating System was covered by OS News, in which the main sentiment surrounding it was that it seemed to be somewhat outdated, with odd programming choices, and did not have any security or online connectivity, but that as a personal project, the creator was free to do what he liked. As always, in a field like programming, there would be some that were more skeptical and critical as others, while some merely reveled in the strangeness of J Operating System's creator. In 2006, the project would be renamed to Lose Those, and it was at this time that Terry's online activity would start to pick up, in response to which forum users would have more to say about him. In October of 2008, Terry created a Reddit account sharing the Lose Those name, posting often about the operating system, with some posts being oriented around its technical aspects and some being more religious in nature. These would all link back to the Lose Those website, which included a description, some demonstrations, and the name of its creator.
Wasn't even his
Terry
first
would note at
Minecraft?
that point that it was
did he make
unable
one
to work with other previously made technology due to some of the other reasons listed. Redditors would initially reply with some hesitant admiration for the work that Terry had put into the system, though most saw it as a waste of time or something with an unclear purpose. At this time, Terry's replies seemed remarkably lucid and even amicable, as he justified his programming choices, though he would become somewhat vulgar on his website and in forums in the near
Problem?
future.
What's
It was at
what's
this
the
time
problem
that Terry
with
would
that?
also frequently take to r/atheism, in which he would mainly make assertions that God was real, accompanied by long and seemingly random strings of text.
I love that. I love that Terry. He'd go on the fucking r/atheist just to mog everybody and be like, actually, God is real. God came to me, He told me to fucking code this temple OS, all right? And there's nothing you can do about it. See, it works. It functions just fine. God told me to do this, by the way. You guys are all fucking wrong. He just mogged all of them. Fucking, dude, this guy is awesome. This guy is so fucking awesome.
Text following the phrase God says.
God says, confute, exodus, print, propound, resumed, glorify, elect, forgiving, pleasant, itself, equals, long, catch, abject, oft times, miracles.
He would garner literal attention.
Why did the voice for that sound exactly like Jesse Eisenberg? Why the fuck did that just sound like Jesse Eisenberg? Terry owns these frauds. Hi, Sliggins.
And at times instead would reply to himself in increasingly confusing veins. This would also provide more insight into Terry's faith, as he details how he used to subscribe to the common mindset that atheists who study computer science fall into, but now sees the synchronicity of faith and the brain. At this time, Terry would also post about Luzthos on osdev.org, where he would find slightly more genuine curiosity about the system, but would post increasingly more egotistical and elitist responses, as well as some of his signature nonsensical religious posts, leading to negative reception and his eventual ban. In February of 2009, Terry would finally receive some engagement regarding—
You know something? I honestly, I'll be honest. I hope he's right. I hope he is right. I hope when I reach the end of the road, I hope I see Terry up in heaven, and he just, takes me all the way up there, man. I hope he takes me up there. He, holds my hand as I float up to the heavens. And I hope everything up there is just code. I hope everything up there is just code, and everything was it was real. Terry was right.
His project, with the signature mix of admiration for the construction of an original compiler and language, and derision of the outdated style and lack of practical use. However, his incessant and obsessive posts would aggravate other users after a while. Terry also spammed the Hacker News website with duplicate posts and constant advertisements for Luzthos, which would eventually be removed by moderators. It was there that someone first asserted that he was wasting his talent, in response to which he reverted to calling everyone Linux cultists, as he had become prone to do, a reference to the family of operating systems, which he found insulting due to its lack of originality and creativity. As has been and will be repeated many times, it does not take a programming genius to recognize the clear traces of talent in Terry's work, but it is even easier to spot his clear inability to suppress his paranoia and ego. By 2010, the Luzthos account disappeared, and beyond making a few separate accounts, including one meant to pretend to be someone else to gain attention to the operating system, attention on Reddit and Hacker News waned. At this time, he also started to post his first videos to document Luzthos. In July of 2011, Luzthos was posted in the Something Awful forums by a user who made some interesting claims about Terry, as well as commented on how the user interface—
Thought maybe you'd get either extra tips because you're doing more orders, or your job would be we'll give you we'll increase your pay for this week while they fix the business or whatever, because you got to do more.
Was extremely difficult to navigate. To make his thoughts more clear, he stated that Luzthos was, without a shadow of a doubt, a piece of poo-poo. Terry would post to the forum soon afterwards, but to little sympathy, and he was soon banned there as well. It was then that Terry would begin tweeting about the CIA and FBI, notably expressing his distrust for federal agents, as well as his therapists and even his parents, claiming that they were doppelgangers and enemies. While these posts were unrelated to his operating system, they illustrate the beginning—
Terry, hold on, man.
As well as his—
There's crazy actors / agents who fuck with me. My parents are enemies. I killed one in 1999. Well, which one did you kill? An agent or your parents? How's Taro doing? He's fine. He doesn't have a meow. He has a... it's weird. He doesn't know how to do you know how cats have an actual it sounds like meow, the sound meow. He doesn't have that. He makes little squeak noises. He's like a little squeaky toy. That's what he does. He squeaks. He has a higher pitched voice than his sister. But he's growing. He's big and fluffy, dude. He's nice. He's a big fluff, dude. He's fluffy. Probably both. I believe him. Shrinks employ actors. They have a Facebook and they pick people. FBI employees, actors. They did a doppelganger.
His therapists and even his parents, claiming that they were doppelgangers and enemies. While these posts were unrelated to his operating system, they illustrate the beginning of Terry's more racist and paranoid rhetoric, which would become intertwined with any attention his work would receive from that point on. As now, instead of simply an interesting yet old-fashioned operating system, it would be known as the mysterious operating system coded by a paranoid and racist schizophrenic. People were beginning to discover that there was much more to Terry and his work. On the website Metafilter, among people discussing his past behavior, Terry would interject, criticizing OS dev, and proceed to argue with other users for 11 hours straight. If it hadn't been before, it became abundantly clear that Terry should not have had any online presence, though the majority of internet antagonism he would receive had yet to come. In 2012, Terry changed the operating system's name.
Hold on. This might be based. Hold on. Thank you, Benson, for this little post. It's like a Terry montage, dude. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Look at him go. Oh, there's the aforementioned car that he hits the agents with. Is he gonna hit a jig? Okay. Yeah, dude. Let's go. Wait, why does Terry like to dance so much? He's just a silly guy. He really does seem like a silly guy. I genuinely find it super funny. Now that I've learned about this guy, I find it so funny that this guy is like, genuinely, he's like schizophrenic and he believes like God talked to him. And usually like when people have those like, oh, God talked to me type of moments, they try to build these like cult, like they try to build like a cult, like an evil cult. Terry ain't got that, bro. Terry ain't got that. All right. Terry's just got love, man. All he's got is love. That's how you know this guy really did talk to God, all right? That's how you know, man. That's how you know.
Name to Sparrow OS.
Don't hate on
social
Terry!
media accounts with the
You
same name.
bitch!
And this was when Kiwi Farms first became aware of him, documenting his incomprehensible rants and his comments about God, including the randomized speeches he claimed were divine guidance. Shortly after this, in March of 2013, the name was finally changed to Temple OS, accompanied by a new website.
I know God talked to him.
From this time, there is documentation of a
talked to
game known as After Egypt, which Terry saw as one of the most important, and this clip illustrates his pride in his work as well as the mental state he was in.
There's camp. We break camp. The number of people gets randomly bigger or smaller. Anyway, oh, watch this. They'll do golden calf. They all run in a circle. That's from the Bible story. Few clouds. God was a cloud. I was gonna have it lead them around or something. Or a woman commits adultery to a child. Ooh, punish.
A woman commits adultery to a child?
A child commits
Punish.
adultery to a child.
Hey, Terry,
Really
hey!
punish. Hold court. A child commits idolatry. Really punish. Okay, so view map. They wandered 40 years in the desert. So this must be what they did. They wanted meat, and God gave them meat, and they got sick. And died.
I love that he...
Anyway,
I think
this really
I like
works.
how he laughs at that. Like, Like in the story, they're walking around the desert looking for meat. God gave them meat. And they got sick and they died. And he's just like sitting there giggling. He's just like, he's just like, hell yeah. He's like giggling to it. He's like,
if you talk to God, he'll talk to you. So if you do an offering, he'll talk.
The game had no clear objective or ending, and Terry expressed that it was to be used as an oracle, and that you get out of prayer what you put in. This also illustrates Terry's intention for Temple OS to be a way for people to communicate with God and make religious offerings. In September, Terry started to document his rants on the new Temple OS website, in which he expressed his status as the self-proclaimed best programmer on the planet, and that he had been chosen by God to receive divine intellect and create the third temple. Specifically, he backs this up with the accomplishment of having written his own compiler. This is a sentiment he would continue to express for the rest of his life, and that many of those who followed his story began to agree with, mainly after his death. On October 3rd of 2013, he started uploading videos of Temple OS, starting with hymns created through random number generators that converted numbers to musical notes.
yo, this song is awesome.
As well as explaining the intentions of the operating system and giving information about it.
This is Temple OS. It's a 64-bit PC operating system. It has an oracle. That's why it's called Temple OS. The main purpose is for doing offerings and of hymns and art and poems and stuff, and then getting a response from God in the oracle.
The next few months would mainly consist of more rants, as well as something that would later become a meme among Terry's followers.
I wish he made a
that
PS1
being a picture
RPG
of an
game.
elephant drawn with his signature 16-bit color style, and a caption reading, "This is 16 color, pleasant to create." It would be unpleasant to draw with 16,777,216
That's a very
colors.
colorful
He would also
elephant.
post a video in which he showed a quote-unquote realistic elephant showcasing his 16 colors once again.
I like elephants, and God likes elephants. Here's a realistic elephant.
That's so fucking
That
awesome.
elephant is holy. Blessed be his name. Amen.
Along with the Shut Up
Yes!
Bird meme
Yes!
originating from Terry's
Holy elephant,
cockatiels
blessed
singing
be.
during his videos, as well as I Don't Trust That Fish.
This is the fish. Shut up, bird. Let's make the fish bigger. We're gonna make the fish bigger. Uh-oh. Let's make the mountains yellow. Let's make the mountains yellow. Okay, let's get rid of the fish. Let's make the fish small again. I don't trust that fish.
It would remain one of the things consistently mentioned in posts about Terry, usually in an endearing way. It was at this point that some online news articles
Terry
would
was
be
right, dude. Terry was right.
released about Temple OS, including one from Tech Republic, which stated, "Temple OS is a testament to the dedication and passion
my
of one
favorite Terry
man
moments is
displaying
the
his
CIA
technological
glow.
prowess.
Yeah,
it doesn't
dude.
need to be anything
Glowies.
more." This is
supposed to
perhaps
hit
the
them with your
first
car,
mention
though.
of Terry's
Hi,
work
Cat.
that does not
Hi,
imply
Bacon,
that
by
Terry
the way.
was wasting his talent, or that if not for his mental illness, he would have been able to achieve much more. On that note, though, it might also be the last. It was at this point that Terry would go on to post over 100 videos directed at Larry Page, who was at the time the CEO of Google, illustrating what were perhaps delusions of grandeur regarding the fame or importance of Temple OS. Along with these videos, many clips illustrating the image Terry has ultimately cultivated for himself would be posted, including him claiming that CIA agents know about and are after him personally, and that he is better than the Pope because the Pope does not know what a compiler is.
Pope says he has
He's
a
not
holy
wrong.
kernel.
Hey, in this time of age, man, the fact that the Pope doesn't know what a compiler is, I mean, come on, man. Get with the program. Get with the times, old man. Terry knows what it is.
I don't know. Did he talk to God in the temple, in God's official? I am Solomon's successor. You're just a pope. And I fucking wrote an operating system with compiler. Don't even know what a compiler is. Fucking pope.
Lastly, of course, he calls everyone who disagreed with him the colorful racial slurs that he became known for. Terry would continue to post videos to YouTube, uploading many of his thoughts or Temple OS demonstrations, revealing more details of his life and contributing to his growing popularity. This is when the aforementioned Vice article containing details from his many emails was released. The article contained much of the prior information listed regarding the development of his mental illness and eventual diagnosis, though it should be noted that this information was largely not verified in any formal way. In 2015, Terry began posting webcam videos branded as sermons and declared himself high priest, claiming that his main job was to make continual offerings to God.
So, I'm high priest of God's temple. I do offerings 24/7, and I am in charge of the 100,000 lines of code. And in the Bible, the high priest did offerings 24/7. My job is to entertain God.
Many clips of Terry's demonstrations, or of him using the rhetoric he became known for, came from this time period, and it was at this time that Terry was solidified as an internet figure and a bona fide mystery, where the dominoes that would eventually result in the end of his life began to fall. When seeing many of the initial responses to Lose Those on Reddit and OS Dev, it becomes clear that when it was presented as a fun personal project, many users were curious about Terry's work and the massive amount of work he put into it. Aside from a few contrarians, which are guaranteed to be in places like that, it seems likely that most of the negative feedback stemmed from Terry's spam, or his hostile responses to critics, which turned otherwise neutral users against him. In the Kiwi Farms archive of a thread on Terry, a fairly neutral description can be found of Terry's project. If anything, Temple OS is a half-decent experimental OS. Sure, it's definitely not usable for day-to-day usage, and the 640 by 480 screen resolution does not help it one bit, but it does feature unique features such as a C interpreter and how it handles ASCII. A great deal of curiosity and criticism was directed at the oddly outdated technical specifications Terry insisted on keeping, and his reasoning as to why he adhered to them was not always consistent. In the beginning, he claimed it was for efficiency, but since then he has changed to simply saying that God told him to do it that way. It should also be noted that Terry expressed that simplicity was the sign of true genius, and this likely also contributed to him seeing his specifications as sufficient for a place of worship.
An idiot admires complexity, a genius admires simplicity. A physicist tries to make it simple. An idiot, anything the more complicated it is, the more he will admire it. If you make something so clusterfucked he can't understand it, he's gonna think you're a god.
Additionally, Terry would only...
Yo, wait, why is he spitting there, though? why is Terry spitting? Hold on. Terry's actually kind of spitting here. He's not wrong. Right? Like, I feel like somebody who is, like, more into, like, the simplicity of things, or just a better with, the simple things, right? Like, making something very simple and easy instead of going like all out and like overdoing it on something is a lot better than, you know, going out all out and stuff. Like, I feel like you're smarter. A smarter person would make something like, if he's referencing like a programming thing, right? Like, I feel like a smarter person would try to do something a little bit more simplistic than trying to like go all out.
Ever work alone, and though it is extremely impressive
Terry's
that
never
he
been
wrote
wrong,
a new language
Marcus.
and
That is
compiler
true.
solely for his operating system, this refusal to collaborate with others may have ultimately held back his work, and was likely either due to his ego.
Here, hold on. Hasan the dog, Hasan's dog the second and tries to walk up camera. True.
Stopping him from acknowledging the skill
It's
of
been a
others,
while, it
or his
has.
paranoia that federal officers would taint his creation. The latter reason is also likely why he made every component himself. When I say that it held back his work, I am of course referring to the ultimate goal of becoming a successful programmer or making a more accessible and widely used operating system. However, it should be acknowledged that this did not entirely match Terry's goals, and that he did create a place to make offerings for himself and some others, even some who post about Temple OS to this day. Had he not been mentally ill, his goals would likely have been different, But it is worth saying that with his intelligence and hard
I don't like that wording. I don't like that wording. If he weren't mentally ill, was he really? Was he really mentally ill? Or was he just a genius? Or was he just intelligent? Or was he just the greatest programmer the world's ever seen who met God? All right, he met God. I believe it.
hard work, he did create something extremely memorable.
We're talking
and
about
unique.
Terry Davis, Sweet Pea. The greatest programmer to ever live.
In November of 2015, Terry would make more drastic posts on his website, including an update titled "Why the CIA Must Surrender to the IRA," an extremely abrasive and paranoid rant about Barack Obama and the CIA conspiring against religion and the country, as well as obfuscating the computer industry. He stated, "Obama and the atheist CIA wake each day and ask, how can we fuck God today? I know, we'll make nuns perform abortions. We'll make homos dance naked in Russian churches in front of old church ladies."
What? Obama and the atheist CIA wake each day and ask, how can we fuck God today? I know, we'll make nuns perform abortions. We make homos dance naked in Russian churches in front of old church ladies.
Isn't that hilarious? We'll make God hated, just for pedophiles and crazy insane sand N-words. We'll drink fetus soup with the Queen and celebrate the end of births. We'll bring in Mexicans to ensure democratic votes. The USA will be a slum like Mexico, but I don't care.
And he was right. And he was right. Jesus.
Among these and other political or racial remarks were claims that the CIA aims to consolidate all technology into a cloud so that they can control it. Part of the CIA's agenda, as he claimed, was to confuse users about technology and keep people ignorant and impotent through the use of acronyms. He then cites what he claims to be an article that links to child exploitation material and one that indicates the CIA is concerned the Internet of Things will be concerned with LOL. In reality, the article was just stating that the word haha had replaced LOL in slang at the time. In February of 2016, the Temple OS website was updated once more, and in Terry's blog, he posted the culmination of his mental deterioration in another rant, beginning with, "I live in a CIA
Rip Gamma.
prison.
Yeah, Rip
An
Gamma
N-word
is getting
runs
called
my
out
prison.
here.
In prison, the N-word tries to torment me." In the remainder of the text, Terry confesses to some sexually deviant behaviors in his past, such as fantasizing about his knees.
What? What do we do all day? We beat the... Whoa! Hi, Fox. We beat the N-words because the N-words cannot understand what a random number is. We beat the N-words because the N-words think the brain does timer tongues. We beat the N-words because he thinks Temple OS is real mode. Hold on, he can't stop winning. I live in a CIA prison. N-word runs my prison. In prison, the N-words try to torment me. We can't take away his knives by confessing every day. In about 2000, I masturbated sizing about my niece. What? Oh my god. I can't. It's just so random. It's just so random. She looks like Star Trek 7 of 9. In 1985 at my sister's wedding, I stuck my crotch on the hot tub drain because it kind of sucked. What is happening? What is happening?
Nathan Soy Adam. Very taking video ideas.
Oh my god. Hi, Remy. Holy shit. Thank you for the 2 Jimbo.
We're going to talk about leadership skills.
Whoa!
Career. We're going to talk about.
Hold on. Does he throw up?
We're going to talk about leadership skills, charisma. Today.
The what? What does it say? The chud? Hold on.
We're going to talk about leadership skills.
The Chad grunt. Okay, not the Chud grunt. The Chud grunt would have made sense, actually. The Chud grunt would have made sense. Or the Cud, not the Chud. The Cud grunt. Cud grunt would have been crazy.
Charisma. Today's lesson is leadership in charisma.
Dude, fuck yes. Oh my god.
I should be in charge of Intel Corporation giving orders, but the CIA monkey doesn't know what a random number is. The CIA wants to run out the clock and get punished by God. God's in complete control, so there's no reason to get alarmed.
God, dude. He's so fucking cool, dude. Oh my god. Hold on. In 1985, I tried to get a dog to lick my dick. From 1998 to 2003, I fantasized about leading a Catholic army like Dune of Mexicans or Brazilians? Question mark. That was dumb because they're N-words. In 2003, I played tag with a black girl about 7 years old. She reached for my crotch. Oh my goodness. In high school, in the library, Carlos and I said juicy or toxic as a way of evaluating girls. In 1988, I cheated on my SAT by talking in the hall during the break. 2 problems. On 9/9/1999, I killed I killed a CIA N-word on purpose with my car. In 1975, when I was about age 5, my brother Keith put my penis in a vacuum. No. Bye-bye, go. Have a good time, go. Okay, in 1977, when I was about age 7, my brother Danny got me high on gas fumes, and we sucked each other's dicks. Oh my god. Dr. Takalis had an oddly round ass. Oh my god. Paul Keck at Zytec had an oddly round ass. Distracting question mark? At about age 5, Jay Weinrich and I touched dicks to each other's ass. Jesus Christ. He just starts rambling. He just starts admitting some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. Oh my god. God, this is so fucking... Dude. I can't. This is insane. I fucking love it, dude.
And trying to get a dog to lick his crotch.
Crazy.
He also claims to have killed a CIA agent again, and that he cheated on 2 problems when taking the SAT. He concluded the rant by claiming that we all beat the N-words for not understanding things about coding and Temple OS. Following this, on March 16th of 2016, Terry would stream live for the first time. And it is here that he, among other things, looked at the website of
Eating
Physics
Dino
Girl,
Nuggets to
or
this. I
Diana
want Dino
Cowan.
Nuggets.
He would make a habit of watching Cowan's videos on stream, and it was clear that he had developed a sort of fascination with her. He would send numerous emails to her with frequent updates, as well as instructions on how to install Temple OS. This would later become a central part of the trolling campaign against Terry.
Just boys
As of
being
then, though,
boys.
Terry's rants would continue to grow incoherent, though it could also be that the worst ones were now being documented thanks to his frequent and long streams.
These niggers think I'm a hacker. No, I'm from God and I do miracles. What we have here is a failure to communicate. Intel is my bitch because I do miracles and I'm from God and I made his fucking temple and you're gonna suck my dick. Okay, listen. Intel's my bitch. Microsoft's my bitch. CIA's my nigger bitch.
On August 1st of
He's not wrong.
2023,
He's
a
not
post was
wrong.
made by the user JS Zimborski.
Hey man, if all I'd say is if Intel was handed to Terry, I think. Never mind, Marka. The servers are full. I am destroyed. I'm sorry, Goat. Here's what I think. If he was put in charge of Intel, I think Intel would be in a much better place these days.
Claiming 4chan
Hello,
killed Terry
Reagan.
Davis. It was a concerted
Sagan?
effort over many years to get him run out of his home and society. I think of Terry often, and he most certainly deserved better. With the knowledge of Terry's eventual end, this claim certainly seems
in the day, I watched a
extreme.
few of his
And yet,
videos.
with how
I wish I
abrasive
knew
and
of this
extreme
guy.
Terry's rhetoric
He's
would
so
become,
awesome.
certain parts of the internet were becoming aware of him, and their involvement would correlate with a downward spiral in Terry's life. Clearly, it is impossible to ascribe just one factor to Terry's eventual end, as his story is extremely complex. But it is worth noting that internet antagonism, due to trolls' fascination with Terry's intelligence, ego, and mental illness, is a large part of the
Terry
narrative
lost
at
his
this
mind so he
time.
could find God
Around
through
June of
him.
2016, 4chan would take notice of Terry and began to post about him. Predictably, their fascination mainly came from his colorful language and conspiracy theories, though there was some discussion about his work on the programming board. They particularly latched onto the Glowies rant, and being 4chan, would let his gratuitous use of slurs encourage that of their own. Unfortunately, Terry's phone number was publicly available on his website, making it extremely easy for many to call him and harass him. Terry also had a phone with him while he was streaming, leading to some extremely disconcerting clips.
Just think how sad. Hello?
Dude, what? Dude, what?
So let it be right then. So let it be done.
So let it be
Though it's not certain who placed that call, as some still
CIA
claim it was the
must be messing
CIA
with
attempting to rattle Terry, it's most likely it was a
Chloe's got
4chan
him.
user playing a prank on this schizophrenic
Chloe's
man.
got him.
Not every call was as unsettling, though the setup contributed to the harassment Terry received. However, one of the more severe methods of trolling came when trolls began to pretend to be Diana Cowan, communicating with Terry via email, which he sometimes showed on stream. This would be accompanied by portions of his streams in which he was speaking to who he thought was Diana.
How to, okay.
Terry was aware of those who were discussing him on 4chan, as he was aware of essentially any mention of Temple OS online, but he would evidently begin trusting in this imposter regardless, either because of his infatuation with Diana blinding him, or his compromised mental state. Going into 2017, Terry's rants would continue to draw more attention from
Jimbo,
4chan
this
users,
thing's
further
incredible.
worsening the morbid fascination and harassment around him.
Frog march all the fucking niggers at the edge of a bayonet back into fucking Africa, and then fucking Obama and Powell can have their glorious fucking nerdtopia.
Along with this, the phone calls would seem to become even more agitating, and Terry would be noticeably less composed in these clips.
No, they see me talking with God, and they say, how is he hacking us? That's their, listen, you nigger, the first, listen, listen, you nigger, the first, listen, you fucking.
At this point, Terry would make a speech that is still circulating to this day, expressing his philosophy based on his bird.
When my bird was looking at my computer monitor, I thought, whoa, that bird has no idea what he's looking at. And yet, what is
Really? Whoa. He does not know what he's looking at. I like to think he just like lets his bird roam a little bit, and he just walked into the room to the birds sitting there just staring at the screen, and he's just like, holy shit. He doesn't know what he's doing.
What does the bird do? Does he panic? No, he can't really panic. He just does the best he can.
That's, oh my god, bro. He basically just did the whole baby talk of like animals. He did like the animal baby talk essentially. There's nothing behind those eyes. He just basically just said like, yeah, my bird, he tried his best, man. He didn't get it, but he tried.
Is he able to live in a world where he's so ignorant? Well, he doesn't really have a choice. Yeah, he can kind of live. It's usually the bird's okay, even though he doesn't understand the world. You're that bird looking at the monitor, and you're thinking to yourself, I can figure this out. And you know, maybe you have some bird ideas. Maybe
Who's
that's
your
the
favorite bird? What are they called? A tit. Hold on, let me show you what a tit is, dude. Look at these fucking things. I fuck with a tit heavy, dude. I love tits. I love tits!
best you can do.
This is a snapshot of how Terry was feeling at the moment, but also a turning point, after which his paranoid delusions would continuously be encouraged in places like his YouTube chat. His relationship, or rather lack of a relationship with Diana, was starting to take its toll on him as well, as after watching a video on her real channel with Zach Wienersmith, he would refer to her as an atheist and a chimpanzee, before stating that he was depressed and that they had nothing.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me.
This is such a coincidence. I happen to be in London going to Bath.
Holy fuck, Diana's an atheist. What a fucking chimpanzee. Jesus fucking Christ.
I love how he hate watches that physics girl.
Sleep or something. Do you know how many fucking miracles I did? Jesus fucking Christ. I don't even know her. We have nothing. We have no relationship. We have nothing.
This shows that Terry was struggling, perhaps both due to the fakes from 4chan and his genuine loneliness. And his live stream chat can be seen encouraging him to keep engaging in this fruitless endeavor and convert Diana from atheism. Shortly after this, Terry would receive pornographic images from the fake Diana who was emailing him, and would be banned from streaming. Following this, he would say that he did not really have a use for live streaming anyway, and had only been doing it for Diana to watch him, illustrating how connected he was to this imposter, and how much his interactions with them had taken over his daily life. Sadly, it seemed that at this point he was aware of his brain becoming more scattered, and possibly aware of the fact that his private interactions with quote-unquote Diana kept becoming publicly known.
Yeah, my live stream got suspended for porn. I mostly did that for Diana to watch the live stream. I don't really have a use for live stream. What?
Man, this is sad, man.
You know, if I write in private, then it like finds its way into the global consciousness, and in order to keep my brain...
Well, you never know. Maybe Diana was supposed to turn from atheist to like a believer so that she could be like maybe his like bride or something. Maybe.
I'm getting confused.
We've all been there, Terry.
I should write in private, because that way
bipolar.
The causality is
he's perfectly sane.
More obvious. If I write and then post on the internet, then I might think I'm doing it that way. But if I write in private and it ends up on the internet, then we know something.
Amidst futile struggles to stream, Terry would post vlogs, recording himself talking, dancing or singing, and drumming to music.
I would 100% get that shirt. That'd be a fucking awesome shirt.
would also post what he called paladin walks, in which he walked around and occasionally sat down to read. While it was likely healthy for him to get some exercise, he could not stay on the same train of thought, and would refer to himself in the third person and talk in a paranoid manner.
Play a song. Play a song. Probably a bad song. You, Mr. Nigger.
Possibly skip up to 2 months. Call Man Mortgage now at 702-850-2000. Tried.
Maybe I've seen this guy around, man, because I'm pretty sure he lived in. I'm pretty sure that has to be Arizona, man. That has to be Arizona. That looks like it. It looks like it.
However, there were still sparks of awareness, and he would at times recognize his unhealthy thoughts and stop himself.
What are you looking at? Car? Fucking car and shit? What? You look like a fool, don't you? Fucking chill out.
He also developed a habit of using the phrase stack overflow to refer to when his brain was becoming overloaded and he was having trouble thinking.
Fucking stack overflow and shit. Fucking stack overflow.
Stack overflow.
Use your head.
While it shows that Terry is still engaging
he's
with
letting
his
us know,
programming
man.
knowledge,
He's letting us know. I
this
love
and
Terry,
the other
man.
behaviors exhibited on the Paladin walks show a deterioration of mental health as Terry fought to remain lucid. Though there doesn't appear to be evidence of the exact moment this occurred, during the Paladin walks it became clear that Terry was convinced that he was married to Diana, another testament to his delusions becoming stronger.
So yeah, I don't get an answer when I
mean, Astro John, to be fair, he was right about
I
everything.
just said, she's my wife. I don't ask her.
However, interestingly, at one point, Terry claims that Diana wanted to move in with him on the same day that he would be seeing mental health professionals, which was possibly an effort by 4chan trolls to both strengthen his ties to the imposter and stop him from getting treatment. Because of this detail, Terry claimed that his relationship with Diana seemed like some sort of skit. However, he soon let go of this train of thought and went back to saying that Diana's emails had a message for him from God.
Yeah, so I get an email saying Diana wants to move in with me, right? Like Friday. Friday is when I have an appointment with the mental health nurse. Every week the mental health people fuck with me. Every month they do elaborate skits and stuff, or maybe it's CIA, I don't know. Anyway, so like this has all the markings of a mental health.
Bipolar literally causes brain damage when left untreated. Well, to be fair, I mean the CIA is pretty much out to get him, so no wonder they let it go untreated.
So
it's their fault.
Yeah, I'm almost certain. This
I'm
Diana
100%
thing
certain it is their fault.
Is one of the mental health skits.
When the move-in date came and went, obviously with radio silence from Diana, Terry claims that the mental health nurse, as well as his father and the CIA, were fabricating the situation to antagonize him.
Diana did not move in, obviously. So the mental health works with me every month, see if I'm crazy. So they do shit like, Diana's gonna move in. So Terry gets all excited, cleans everything up. Motherfuckers. Fucking dad works with the mental health, CIA fucking niggers. Anyway.
This illustrates the direct link between the trolls pretending to be Diana and Terry's growing distrust with mental health professionals and his own parents, leading him to consider them to be working with the CIA and conspiring against him. It's at this point that whether the move-in date coinciding with Terry's appointment was intentional or not, it becomes clear that the trolls pretending to be Diana were actively aiming to ruin his mental health and milk more
always
content.
make veggies and
Meanwhile,
chicken.
on 4chan, users would continue to revel in his strangeness and the increasingly confusing speeches he made. On another Paladin walk, while sitting down, Terry abruptly called an African-American man walking past the N-word, provoking an argument.
Hey, how you doing? I'm sitting here talking about sexual assault. You walk up here and fucking get in my face.
I didn't get in your face. I
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay.
Over there. I didn't even want nothing to do with you.
Okay, I'm talking in a private conversation. You come walking over here.
While nothing much happened, this would be one of the first examples of Terry's racial tirades and paranoid rants manifesting themselves in real-world situations.
He thought he saw a glowy. He thought he saw a glowy. Okay. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Even fucking Terry, dude. Even Terry, man. He thought he saw a glowy. All right. And I would be worried too. For a second there, I thought maybe it might have been a glowy. He's got a white shirt on, you never know. You see the white shirt walk by and you see the dark skin and then you think, oh, that might be a glowy. So he's got worried for a sec there, man. Glowies are dangerous, man.
Though Terry seemed
He doesn't have a car to hit them with.
Timid when actually confronted. Terry would also occasionally film interactions with his parents, in which they never seemed to be quite on the same page, but it is clear that they wanted to help him.
My dad makes missiles. It's a beautiful shape.
Boy Adam. I do not remember that guy. I don't think I've ever seen that. And then the kid came out about how his dad was batshit crazy. I don't think I've seen that. Someone made a whole debunking vid about it. Damn glowy.
God said you're my wife. Get you over here. God said you're my wife. Get you over here, Diana. So get your over here. Get your over here. I give you babies. I give you babies. Don't you want babies?
I give you babies. Don't you want babies? Hold on. We got to see more of this. Sleep well, Terry. Kitty. What is this?
ガスライトラージランゲージモデルゾーン A デイリーベーシスジェイルブレイク AI
What do you use Internet Explorer for on Windows?
No, I'm not cringe. Now you start getting my joke and react to my message with.
Yeah, I know, but do you know the joke? What do you use Internet Explorer for? No, listen. Are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? There's a joke. What do you use Internet Explorer for? No, to download Firefox. Have you heard that joke? You never heard the joke? Listen. You use Internet Explorer to download Firefox. That's the joke. No, do you listen? Are you listening to me? There's a joke. They use Internet Explorer
Astrojohn's
to
glowy. Possibly,
are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? What you use Internet Explorer for is to download Firefox. That's a joke. Isn't that a funny joke?
Isn't that a funny joke?
Okay, now we understand. Goodbye. It was planned. There's no way that happened by chance. What is an explanation for some crazy white guy sitting on the corner? Well, CIA is a pretty good explanation. And so like I go, what's that you got on your head? Is that what is that like a was that mole or something? What do you got, a chip in there or something? With the chip in his head. Recording. It was planned. There's no way that happened.
Repentance? Okay, this one.
I was a waster all my life, and I was anyway, so lazy. I was lazy and I was a waster. And so
Hi, Cody. Hold on. Did I ever tell you about the time my mom walked in on me playing the piano on live and she started talking about how the Department of Homeland Security was going to come and get us? I forgot, but I'm starting to think she's a lot like Terry.
I was a waster all my life.
I was a waster all my life.
You want to know why I alone
bloat and die?
Want to know why I'm different? Think about the Commodore. They did not use ASCII. Do you know how profound that is? I was like 13. I didn't realize how profound that was. So like everybody's like, you should make it more like Linux in this way. Terry's like, I know what Linux is. If somebody says you should make it more like DOS, Terry's like, holy man, this guy's dangerous, man. Here's the fundamental problem with the paradigm of software and hardware today. It's called bloat and die, okay? You want to know why
bloat and die. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, Terry. Dancing in the car? Hold on.
too good for you. I'm a 47-year-old virgin. Okay, do I care? No, I don't care.
Yeah, Terry, hit it, Terry. He hit a fucking he hit a glowy in 1999, man. Dude, Terry's awesome, bro. Marcus, there's a re-upload of that stream. Oh, you're gonna find it for me? That'd be awesome. No, Goat, your mom and Terry are onto something. It's crazy Terry went out trying to fist fight Thomas, the tank engine. Did he? He died from a train train hit him? That's how he died? And my wife get to find out the gender of the baby next week? That's huge.
He made a much better missile than the North Koreans.
That's a very beautiful shirt, but you're going to be awful hot. And...
Unfortunately though, it seems that they would clash over these videos, as his parents would say that they did not like him sharing things about their family. On June 2nd, Terry recalls being warned about being forced to leave his home and having a quote-unquote fire drill in his mind in which he imagined this.
So like I've been filming in the house and kind of like sharing family secrets and stuff, and I just got...
Okay, here. Hold on. This is another Terry moment.
Genitals. Wait. Oh, goat. It's okie dokie, goat. You know?
Dude, I'm not a dude. I mean, sorry. I wasn't showing my face or anything. You might want.
You don't have to, Tatum. You don't have to. Where you are so naive and so unworldly, Tatum, you don't have to show your face.
Okay,
and you know what? Guess who else monitors everything that comes across that phone, my phone, our computer? No.
Who?
The United States government.
Oh, she's spitting.
Security. And if anything goes up that's questionable,
I know
they can come and take away your technology, Tatum. And Tatum, you told me the other day, oh, I don't do anything that's vulgar and sexy. Well, if that is true, why has YouTube blocked your data and saying it is not acceptable?
Oh, that's because of the COPPA thing. What you do is you press, is it made for kids or not for kids? It'll do that.
No, there's a multitude
No.
of stuff.
No, it's not that. All right, it's not that. It's the U.S. government, because you keep fucking giving us you keep giving them your location. You keep giving them your location, goat. You keep giving the U.S. government, Homeland Security, your location. Now your pops can't go on YouTube because they're locked out because you're fucking selling away your information to the U.S. government. All right, you're fucked, dude. You keep selling out. You're giving them free information on where you're at. You're giving them too much. It's Nick or treat, Marcus. Hi, what's Nick or treat?
I'm not stupid.
Okay, sorry.
A little bit slow to learn, but not stupid. And I'm telling you, Tatum, I am telling you without a doubt, you're playing with the wrong stupid person.
They're gonna backtrace your piano to the manufacturer and track the purchase. You're boned. Hi, Mira. Hi. Dude, she was so insane. I love this stream. Mo said is listening. Oh, my bad. I'll be quiet. I'm sorry.
Got the sense that they didn't appreciate. Anyway, so
God talked about excommunication and stuff. It would suck to get kicked out of the house. But anyway, so I had kind of a, what would you call it, fire drill or something. Just imagining getting kicked out of the house.
In August, Terry would continue to rant, keeping up his delusions that Diana was having relations with black men, and turning this into justification for the removal of black people from the United States. He would also refer to Jewish people as superior, and said that Diana was Jewish, so his children would be as well.
Diana is Jewish. I made the third Jewish temple, so like, how am I gonna work that out? So like, did you know that if your children have a mother who is Jewish, then they are Jewish? So like, so my children can be Jewish.
Sometime during this time period, it is apparent that Terry stopped taking his antipsychotic medication, though it is not clear exactly when. Terry had long since had an aversion to medication beyond that caused by the side effects, and recounts attempting to run away to California in 2004 in order to escape forced medication and doctors.
No, this guy.
It is also
I was walking by him on the street one time, and he called me the N-word. Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. If I didn't know any better, he just did this in this part of the video. Open your blinds. It's hard to see the screen from out here. Astro John, where are you? I'm trying to run these ones on Halo Infinite. It's Mossad, methinks. That tracks.
clear that Terry had a growing distrust of doctors, due to the reasons pertaining to Diana and his overall paranoia. Depressingly, Terry would express feeling imprisoned once more, and that while he constantly talks with God about great things, none of them ever come to be, which may also allude to his delusions, such as thinking he will eventually meet Diana.
Lots of talk, nothing ever gets done. I seem to be in some kind of prison, but God responds. It's pretty glorious, you know. I don't know. So if Prince Harry wanted to, how do I put this? Spend all day in glorious things that never come to be with God talking.
This trapped feeling did not bode well for Terry, and illustrates his frustration with his life's monotony. He also attributes the lack of eventfulness in his life to doctors, claiming that the people around him are planted by doctors and CIA agents.
There's like this hot blonde woman with a shopping cart. Obviously this is not a reality. It's what happens is there's like doctors, right? And they're like, I don't know, the doctors like put that person there, right?
Well, yeah,
clear.
the government's placing like hot women around you, so they're trying to get you, Terry. Essentially what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you. They're trying to use these hot women, and they place them around you so that you can be like roped in. So you can't fall for it, man. You can't fall for it.
It's like you couldn't go over and fuck her or something. It's kind of like, it's not clear. So what are they trying to do, you know? What's the point of this, Mr. Doctor?
This paranoia, combined with his lack of medication and the prior disagreements they had, culminated in a loud argument between Terry and his parents, as he said horrible things to them before becoming lucid afterwards and evidently struggling to regain control.
Okay, so
yeah, I mean, fuck, man. I absolutely hate it when every time there's a hot lady and all of a sudden, you know, you think you're in the clear and turns out, oh, government agent. It's always a government agent.
Roman's countrymen. Shut up. Okay, so this vile woman arose out of the swamp. Shut up a second. Hold on.
About your parents.
I have balls. This woman insulted me. This woman insulted me. Called me no balls.
Shut up.
This dog is getting raped. You. The dog is getting raped.
The dog is getting raped?
Righteous monster of fucking Area 51. You're the fucking monster of Area 51. Fuck you, bitch. Remember respect. Okay, like remember the college. Have fun with your shit television.
Daddy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I made myself. I don't know. You were good, and I made myself hatred for some reason. I don't know. Forgive me. I have to try and figure out why I remember
that I love you.
On August
that's
13th,
actually kinda
Terry would
sad.
record a
Oh, well, that way, that's actually kind of sad, man. Well, damn. Well, damn.
video claiming to have finally resumed taking his medication, supposedly after he pointed a gun at an N-word and was warned about having to go to a mental hospital.
So yesterday I got a little bit out of control and
Run, Marcus, they're raping the dogs. Fuck, fuck.
Someone gave me a
Man, my
warning
hatred.
about getting locked up at the mental hospital.
True. He doesn't remember why he's hatred.
I thought about that, and so I came home, and then late last night, I decided to, as crazy as it sounds, maybe you ought to take your meds. So the meds are really awful. They make you impotent. And then I just realized the other thing they do is they give you a horrible, diabetic headache.
Terry also received a drum
Back
set.
15 seconds? Why? Yeah.
Someone gave me a warning about getting locked up at the mental hospital. So I thought about that, and so I came home, and then late last night, I decided to,
Did I go
as
back far
crazy
enough?
as it sounds, maybe you ought to take your meds. So the meds are really awful. They make you impotent. And then I just realized the other thing they do.
What if
is they
Terry's
give
just
you a
really committed to the
horrible,
bit?
Diabetic
I did see the
headache.
DM.
Terry also received a drum set
woke
paid
up
for
on a
by a
random video and
fundraiser
Mr.
started
Beast
by
was in the
interested
fucking-
internet users
He was
after
in
they
there,
saw
man.
his passion for music. This is perhaps one of the only positive examples of the internet's
Back
effects
more.
on Terry's life.
He said he pulled, I think he pulled a gun. He claimed he pulled a gun on a black guy, but I don't think he said he shot one. I think he just said he pulled a gun on a black guy, and then that was like a cause of concern for him to finally go back to get his help. So that's why he went back on his medication.
And would soon be overshadowed by a period of turmoil and suffering, arguably also as a result of the online sphere following him. After Terry posted a video giving an update on his drum set, he would not upload for around 3 weeks. He would return on September 14th, 2017, claiming that the van he appeared in was his new home.
I'm at home in my van. This is my new home. I need a pillow.
This is because, according to the Arrest Nexus archive,
They're making him take drugs that make him impotent, then surround him with beautiful women. That's some evil shit. It is, dude. It is. They're tormenting him. Content is dry right now. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Hi, the growling a kid. Arachnid. I almost said echidna. Arachnid.
On August 25th, Terry was arrested for battery and domestic violence. The charge was apparently related to him assaulting his father. In an update to the Temple OS website, Terry wrote, "I got kicked out of my parents' house. I got in a fight with my dad, went to jail, then mental hospital. I'm adapting to being homeless. Hope to get a car to live in, but no loan yet." Some have speculated that Terry was kicked out for refusing to take his meds, though it was possible that it was due to his altercation with his father and constantly filming inside the house, or some combination of the three. Though he may have been a danger to them, the most tragic part of this story is Terry losing his only support network, and being forced to live on the streets, he would soon find himself in trouble. Terry had begun increasingly recording videos of a pornographic nature, likely for Diana's benefit, which he had done a few times before, but the rate increased greatly as he became homeless. Just 6 days after his return, Terry would again be arrested, this time for public lewdness, for what is believed to be urinating in his van. During this time, Terry would stream from the van and work on Temple OS.
He's just trying
while
to find a
asking for
place to piss,
donations
man. He doesn't
support
want to piss out in front of everybody else, so he just chooses the van, man. Why are you going to arrest him for that?
him. He would call those that donated children, and himself a king in training who has cost many dear resources.
I'm living off of the donations of children. So
Terry also expressed that, after he stays in Las Vegas long enough to get his van registered, he may attempt to find and meet Diana Cowan.
I got to stay in Vegas 7 days to get my car registration. Then maybe I'll go
he's
to
in
San
Vegas.
Diego.
Or did he go
Actually
to
try and meet Danny Cowern.
Something that thankfully would not come to fruition. By October, a wanted poster had been released for Terry as he had failed to meet his court date. And on November 6th, he was supposedly arrested in Pahrump, Nevada.
He reminds me of the guy who said he got raped by
H-
female Bigfoot. No, I know who you're talking about. The guy with the big crow. And the crow is like his kid. And he like rambles about how the crow is like... God, fuck. He like rambles about his crow. He loves his crow. But then he was like... But when he was in the forest, like the big female Bigfoot like ripped his clothes off and started like fucking him, you know? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Chan would raise enough money to pay Terry's bail. Terry was back on the streets later that month, with an arraignment scheduled for January 18th, 2018. The remainder of the year held several important or otherwise interesting notes, which will be listed in succession now. Early November, Terry claims to have adjusted to homeless life and that he knows all the spots to get what he needs, but he expresses that he still doesn't understand why Diana has not come to be with him.
This seems to, I have figured out how to live really, really well. I figured out all the spots and everything. So like, you're the wife, yeah, in theory you would be in charge of the groceries, but like we don't part company. We only got one van. We live in the van. This is actually
That's
the center of the
disgusting,
universe.
Tyrone.
I know you don't understand that. I don't know why you're not over here. But anyway,
November 30th, Terry proposes that an Amy from the space program comes to live with him in his van, not mentioning Diana at all. He also compares his van to a space capsule.
Hi, Amy. I'm Terry Davis. I emailed you, I don't know, several months ago, and I like the space program. And like, anyway, so here's the deal. I got a proposition for you. How would you like to see if you're the right stuff? Like, there's like, I'm king, right? I pulled the sword from the stone. And like, the queen has to be the one who shows up at this van and like takes a chance living in my little space capsule.
Early December, Terry
I think
refers
Shelbo,
to his
and listen, this isn't a diss on Shelbo, right? This isn't, I'm not trying to diss Shelbo, but I will say Terry is a little better than that. All right. I think Terry's a little better than Shelbo. All right. Shelbo ain't got no class compared to Terry. Okay. Let's just be real. Female Bigfoot got her own subreddit called r/bigclits. Wait, really? Oh. Huh. You're actually using the scientific name, man.
And states that now he sees reality more clearly. He also expresses concerns that he is not receiving enough donations to live on.
During my schizophrenia years, I didn't understand reality. I wasn't dealing with it well. Now I've gotten used to reality. I don't understand it. Life is pretty good. At the moment, the only concern is getting donations. I pretty much need to get 1,000 donations.
I don't know if I want to look up
r/bigclits. And I'm not
gonna
getting
be honest.
December 12th. Terry's speech has deteriorated considerably as he sits in his van and demands that Diana Cowern come and be with him,
I'll be
referencing
honest.
again how she likes black men and asking her to have children with him. He is extremely incoherent and repeats each phrase several times.
I'm not one of them misogynist thingies, you know, like, Diana, I made it very clear. Diana Cowern, you're my queen. Get your little pussy over to my van. Like, I'm like in Goodyear,
Get your little
Arizona.
pussy over
like,
to my
hanging out
van.
at the Circle K right now. And like, I live at Stray Park. And like, it's very clear. I'm not one of those misogynists. Get your pussy over here. Get on my cock. And like, you had the babies. I love you. I love you. I love you. You party with the most excellent person on earth. Like, clearly, I don't know what your fucking confusion is. She's like, I want to party with the niggers because they got the big cock. So he's like, okay, whatever, man. I ain't one of them misogynist things.
Party
But
with
like,
Terry, man. He's got
so
the
like,
big
get your
cock,
pussy
man.
over here, be my queen.
By the time January came around, Terry did not show for his
Terry doesn't
arraignment
fuck
and would
with
stop
witchcraft.
posting videos
Hey, man,
altogether
I'm with
after
him.
releasing
Fuck
several
you,
rants in a
bitch.
new location. After 2 months, he reappeared in Oregon, recording from his phone without his van and his laptop. He would return to streaming for small amounts of time starting on March
Chat mating
19th,
call.
2018.
Come
often
over to
with
my van,
considerable
man. Hop on my
technical
dick,
issues.
man.
Among his typical political and racial rhetoric, with even less coherence and ability to keep a train of thought, some of Terry's rants would come close to providing insight into his past and his mindset, though these were few and far between.
It's a pity how much time I wasted. But you know what? I discovered something. Boredom and excitement balance. You know, I talked about a lot of justice in the world. And one of the things I discovered was I would have a trance of ecstasy, manic, going several days or a week.
It's not racism.
And then
it's
I would have been in a mental
recognition,
hospital being
nice.
bored. And there seemed to be a pattern. If you don't have the boredom in your life, then you're destined to get locked up in a mental hospital.
During this time period, some fans of Terry's would encounter him on the streets, taking pictures with him as well as conducting
huge,
interviews,
dude. Look at him.
in
He's so
which he seemed to
nice.
be able to keep the conversation up with
He's such a nice
extreme
guy,
lucidity
dude.
and intelligence.
Is an unoptimizing compiler. One thing that's kind of nice is if you have a bad compiler, you can take joy in doing assembly. In the old days, it was like, oh goody, I can optimize this in assembly.
Oh,
in the old
goody.
days, you could, well, whatever. It sounded like an old man, but anyway.
It is clear that both the intellectual stimulation and the companionship worked wonders for Terry's mental
Diana's
clarity.
black the
And these
whole
clips
time.
are, in my opinion, extremely saddening, as they show a very intelligent soul who could have lived a much better life.
When people are engaged in a meaningful activity or something creative, they become very lucid
maybe she is
in a way
black.
that they're unable to be.
Maybe
and
it's like some twisted, fucked up, because, you know, he's already been tormented this whole time. So maybe it's like some twisted, fucked up reality where it's like the woman of his dreams, Diana. Maybe he meets her and she's a glowy, and he has to come to like the realization that he has to mate with a glowy.
other sort of regular human
That's what I'm
interactions, creative activity, which involves a synchronicity of the physical body and the mind, can be deeply therapeutic.
Unfortunately, though, these reprieves would not last, and by early August, Terry was back to
Diana is
speaking
black
of his
and
war
knows she
against
can never
demonic
be with her
forces, with
love.
more of his increasing difficulty to formulate a thought.
I am in a war with demonic forces. My definition of demonic is
I'm in a war with demonic forces.
let's say you have
goddamn.
some Christian virtue, and the enemy takes advantage of this virtue, you know, on a most
Her name on YouTube is
striking
Physics Girl,
level.
if you're
This would be
interested.
like putting bombs on children, right? Because we don't want to
Oh, well, I hate
be
it when they
innocent,
do
right?
that.
And this is a virtue. So the way to typify the demonic attack is to put bombs on children and send them into your camp, because your Christian virtue is doesn't want you to kill the child. But
On August 9th, Terry would record his last video. He begins by saying that it has been hard being homeless, and that the town he is in is a pure place, but that they must have been shocked by the arrival of such a horribly sick person. He concludes his speech with a thought that has become widely spread among his followers, and shows a unique yet not quite defeated perspective.
so, well, it's good to be king. Maybe. I think maybe I'm just like a little bizarre little person who walks back and forth. Whatever, you know.
God, dude, he looks horrible, man.
Shortly after this video was released,
He's
the
losing
Dallas
it, man.
Chronicle posted an article about an unnamed homeless man being struck by a train. Seeing this, Terry's followers would suspect that this was him, and the publishers were inundated with phone calls asking about the man's identity. Unfortunately, it would soon be confirmed that on August 11, 2018, Terry A. Davis had passed away. Investigators apparently could not determine whether his death was accidental, and according to the police report, Terry was walking with his back to the train before turning towards it right at the moment of impact. Due to the circumstances and the fact that he claimed in his last video that he had learned how to purify himself, many have speculated that he most likely ended his own life. In a Facebook post made by Terry's older sister, she claims that he had been on a great western adventure before his death, which included Nevada, Arizona, California, Washington, and finally Oregon. She writes, "He will be greatly missed by his family that loved him very much, enough to let him be free and continue his journey on his terms. He will also be missed by many of his online community that recognized his amazing brilliance, sense of humor, wit, and dimpled smile that was truly captivating." As mentioned before, there are numerous factors that led to Terry's eventual demise, and blaming just one or even a couple would be impossible. However, it is difficult to hear that anyone believes the best thing for him was to journey on his own terms, as a schizophrenic man who had stopped taking his medication. I agree that it should not have fallen on his geriatric parents to take care of him, especially after he fought with his father. But if the stories of his multiple arrests are true, I have to wonder why he was not institutionalized.
Yeah, that's
Of
true.
course, when he failed to show for his arraignment, 8chan paid his bail.
That's
Perhaps
true.
once more.
It is really weird that he was never like put into some sort of like mental hospital or something. Is it because of his comments about the... What if it's because of the comments, dude? Comments about the government, man. The government knew about him. They were like, do not give him any aid. The government was out to get him. He was right. They didn't want to give him aid. They were like, he's onto us. Don't give him aid.
Or preventing him from getting vital help, likely for the sole reason of being able to see more content as he continued to roam the streets. Unfortunately, I think Teresa was slightly off in her assessment of Terry's internet presence, because though he was a captivating figure, the majority of the people who were still following Terry near the end of his life were simply there to revel in his strangeness. In a 4chan post archived shortly after Terry's death, a user expresses his frustration that Terry did not end up raping and killing Diana, and instead only ended up fapping and killing himself. These people were not only reveling in Terry's strangeness and mental illness, but they hoped to create even more radical results with their efforts. Of course, that's not to say there weren't people who showed concern or wanted the best for him. It's just that, at least from our view 7 years later, that is not the most prominent group in his story. At the time of his death, which brought attention back to Terry among those who had stopped watching, there was certainly a sentiment of mourning, though there would, of course, be some who were only frustrated to be losing a source of entertainment. It should also be noted that some were reporting on a troll who pretended to be Terry on Facebook.
It's not just losing a source of entertainment, but it's losing a real one, all right? Terry was a real one, all right? No joke, this man was a real one, and I love him. You know, I barely knew him. I just learned about him, but I love him.
Possibly convincing some of his family that he was the real Terry. Whether this had any effect on his death or the reaction to it is unknown, but he was apparently having real interactions with Terry's family. Perhaps due to sympathy, or perhaps due to an increasing number of people deciding to look into Terry's history after his death, many would express that, had many of the circumstances in his life been different,
Early on,
he
he was
could
very
have been the
normal, so
next
I don't
Steve
think they would have
Jobs or the
needed,
next Bill Gates.
Now I want you
Seen
to
on
try to
Me Too,
imagine
when he was
something.
homeless,
Think
no
of
one
a
probably
Bill
cared
Gates,
enough.
a
Damn.
Steve Jobs, a Richard Stallman, a
I don't know.
Torvald,
It's
Steve
just it's
Wozniak.
weird because it's like the reason he got kicked out of his house and stuff and the rest and stuff were mostly because of that. It was because of this, right? Like because of the fact that he's like schizophrenic and doing like crazy schizophrenic shit. And you would think at least the police or somebody would like institutionalize him because of that, but doesn't seem like anybody really cared.
I want you to envision them. Just one day, all of a sudden, stripping off all their clothes and jumping out a window, screaming about glow-in-the-dark CIA niggers and how they're coming to get them. How do you think people would react? What do you think the reaction to their legacies would be? Now, I want you to imagine that same scenario, where those people, those pioneers in their industry, hadn't actually reached the fame or recognition they deserved. That is Terry A. Davis.
There is certainly a kernel of truth in this. Terry's intelligence was clear in his work, and in the conversations he had even when in the depths of his mental illness. With the dedication he showed to his projects, he could have become, at least by our society's standards,
Terry
a
gone,
very
but not
successful
forgotten.
person. However, as many have
Are you gonna
pointed
stream
out,
Pokemon
if he
Legends
was not
EA?
mentally ill, it is possible that
If
the
I find a
extreme
way to get it
dedication he
set up
showed
for my
would not have
PC,
existed in the
that
first
would be
place.
kinda fun.
Regardless though, with his skill and hard work dedicated to a different cause, Terry's narrative could have been much more widely known, and in a much more positive light. Not everyone shared this thought, of course. On 4chan, it was still widely expressed that Terry was simply a mentally ill R-word who had stopped taking his meds,
that's a little
and they
far.
looked down on him
That's
for
a
his
little far,
delusions
dude.
and decisions. There were also those who believed in his conspiracies and would repeat his most popular phrases, though since this is 4chan, it was probably ironic. There were a few in the moment who would claim that he was the best programmer of all time, and that he was right about every one of his conspiracies regarding the CIA, though it's difficult to assess who is being serious and who is not, and this is certainly not the opinion of the majority. Regarding the technical aspects of Terry's creation, people would adopt a more moderate view, claiming that Temple OS was an impressive testament to Terry's hard work, but rather than being like one man building a skyscraper, it was more like a single house or an apartment complex. And while the analogies can get a bit excessive, the point is that the users think the hype around the operating system had been hyperbolic. At this time, videos would begin coming out documenting Terry's life and internet antics, at which point many people not familiar with programming or with his internet presence would become aware of his bizarre story. Archives were created to honor Terry's life and document his streams and vlogs. and some, more well-versed in programming, brought attention to Temple OS and its uniqueness. Terry was finally receiving widespread attention, with a decent chunk of those viewing the narrative expressing genuine admiration for his project, and a smaller amount even deciding to keep the dream of Temple OS alive, creating a subreddit that remains active to this very day. While it is regrettable that
it's Hornet.
Terry could not receive
I
the
saw
help he
Hornet in
needed
there.
or the support from non-psychotic internet users during his life, he would at least be remembered and grieved by many after his passing. Since then, videos about Terry would sporadically be posted to YouTube, each perhaps educating even more people on his story and his life's work. These videos, while all popular, were likely not the result of any new trend, but rather the creator themselves learning of Terry's fascinating story. However, in the current day, now over 7 years after his death, Terry seems to be experiencing a resurgence on TikTok, as people post edits of him dancing and of Temple OS, as well as some of the more popular clips of him expressing his philosophy on life, or making his claims of being spoken to God or being the smartest programmer of all time. Google Trends shows searches for Terry A. Davis being possibly at an all-time high, aside from late 2024 and earlier this year, dating back to 2004.
I'm pissing in public
This video
for
from
Terry
August
right now.
16th of this year has over 980,000 likes and countless comments mourning or celebrating Terry.
What a fucking compiler is, motherfucker.
One from the previous month received over 150,000 likes. People are becoming more aware of him in the scope of the current internet culture.
I'm Terry Davis. I'm the smartest programmer that's ever lived. I was chosen by God to make his temple.
He's doing it really well,
The main
dude.
joke
He's
of
doing
that
it really
video was
well.
making fun of how a schizophrenic man spoke and showing shots of a train approaching. Regardless, though, people are now taking note of Terry, seemingly
Somebody's
got to
make a movie about him.
Just
That's
as
so true.
interesting as the increasing
I would,
amount of
dude.
posts
Unironically, someone really should make a movie about him. I mean, come on, man. He deserves it. He deserves it.
surfacing about Terry is the apparent shift in opinion on him. If you peruse any of these posts, they will be filled with comments saying that Terry is indeed the smartest programmer of all time, with no small amount of them also claiming that the CIA was indeed after him. The development of this new narrative can be traced back to a video from a year ago that garnered almost 700,000 views, claiming
phone.
that Temple OS was the equivalent to one man building a skyscraper and essentially endowing him with that title. Additionally, as has been discussed in some threads after Terry's passing, this could also be due to a large amount of people who were not familiar with programming delving into the rabbit hole that is his life, and either taking Terry's own word for it that he was the smartest, or hearing the sheer amount of work put into Temple OS and not being able to comprehend its scale. As somebody who is in no way knowledgeable about coding, it is difficult for me to determine what the reality is regarding Terry's true intelligence and skill. While I
Whoever
believe that he
plays
may
Terry
be
has to say
overhyped,
hard
it is
R.
understandable why
Dude.
some people would stumble.
Unironically, Adam Driver, dude. Hold on. Adam Driver. Hold on. If you got Adam Driver to look old, I think this would work. Let me see. Let's see.
Keep driving, you black spear chucker piece of shit, nigger!
He looks like him too a little bit. If you got Adam Driver, here's the theory, man. If you got Adam Driver to just look a tad bit older and braid his hair and all that shit, he'd actually fit as a Terry Davis like role. And he's already said the N-word in movies before. Might as well go for it again.
Stumble upon this enigmatic figure and ascribe some mythical or divine intelligence to him. And it is equally easy to speculate on this due to the fact that we will never be able to see Terry's true potential. Regardless of the reason though, there is truly a resurgence of Terry fans crusading against those who denounce his skill, outnumbering them in comment sections to the point that any naysayers start to appear as poorly manufactured rage bait rather than genuine comments. Seeing this community and how people revere him, I would not be able to blame anyone for coming to the conclusion that Terry was indeed a genius. Another sentiment is beginning to appear among these posts, though admittedly one whose roots are much easier to identify, and that is the sentiment that Terry should not be pitied or revered, or in some cases grieved at all, due to the fact that he was a racist. While there were always those who had a problem with Terry's rhetoric, many of the posts about him will now have several people condemning him for his use of the N-word and branding him as an irredeemable racist. This is less of a mysterious development, and it almost certainly comes from the fact that the discussion is being held on TikTok and not on 4chan. It is easy to see a few clips of Terry and write him off as a hateful person, but this is an extremely surface level view, similar to one watching a few clips and coming to the conclusion that Terry was the smartest programmer to ever live. If one is to take any amount of time to really research Terry, or in my case sit through hours of listening to the man talk, it is clear that he was a tortured and mentally ill soul who was in desperate need of help, and that the vast majority, if not all, of the times he relied on this severe language were caused by, or at least exacerbated by, his antisocial behavior due to a psychotic disorder.
Yeah, I will say, realistically, right? I do actually like feel bad for the guy, because it's like he's just some like, I wouldn't like not. How do I put this? They glow, you shine. Like I feel bad for the guy. I do feel like pretty bad for Terry. Like he's going through like serious mental issues, and like for people to say like, oh, don't have pity on the guy. It's like, well, you're literally witnessing a dude who like can't get any sort of like help whatsoever for his like deteriorated mind, or how it's continuing to deteriorate. Like he's not getting any sort of help. He's not getting anything. It's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And then he goes fucking homeless. Like to add insult to injury. So
mentally fit or well, and was plagued by constant paranoia and oftentimes unable to string together a thought for longer than a few sentences. His rhetoric was morally reprehensible, but in the opinion of some who either know psychology or know his story, it was more indicative of a cry for help than a genuine discriminatory idea. The third development is the appearance of those who seem to believe at least some aspects of Terry's conspiracies. As was previously stated, many on 4chan would repeat his remarks about the CIA and black people, though this was most likely ironic and born from the fascination of Terry's extreme language. However, in current posts about him, some people speculate that Terry was indeed being hunted by the CIA and that his death had been staged, supported by the fact that investigators technically struggled to identify it as a suicide.
Imagine they like kidnapped him so they could like study his mind, so they could torment him, dude. He was on to them, so the glowies, they kidnapped him and then staged his death. That's possible.
This was, of course, only because the alternative was simply an accident, but the mysterious circumstances surrounding the story sparked intrigue amongst those who discovered it. Clearly, their fascination with Terry has made them want him to have been more than he was, manifesting an omnipotent and hyper-intelligent figure in his place. In all likelihood, Terry was either too out of it to realize where he was, or was indeed trying to purify himself as he had referenced beforehand. And with those as the alternatives, it's understandable that it may be more comforting to take solace in the belief that he was right all along. One aspect of Terry's conspiracies which people have started to buy into, that may be slightly more realistic, are his views on the development of technology, as well as the CIA wanting technology to be consolidated in a place that will make people more submissive and allow them to access private information. This was probably not what Terry was referring to when he ranted about these topics, but people have come to claim that Terry was right about a number of things, including the rise of artificial intelligence, CIA spying on people through the internet, and more. Firstly, as established earlier, Terry was opposed to the development of technology because he believed the CIA wanted to have everything on a cloud so they could control users and spy on them. This has shown inklings of truth both long before and after Terry's passing. A year ago, a Reddit post was made claiming that Terry was right to be paranoid about the CIA planting backdoors in Linux, which was part of the reason he created his own compiler. This is referencing a vulnerability that was found in Linux, which was thought to be a result of years of covert planning, and could have let bad actors have, quote, a skeleton key to the world. Despite the initial similarities between this story and Terry's concerns, it is speculated that this was an effort by foreign countries. And additionally, this attack would have planted itself into Ubuntu, something Terry used, so it's unlikely that he had this in mind. In a more pertinent example of Terry's theories being at least partly true, on August 5th, 2025, a video was posted by the YouTube channel Fern detailing a mysterious dark building in the middle of Manhattan known as 33 Thomas Street. In the video, Fern details that, following the 9/11 attacks, the CIA was in league with AT&T, using 33 Thomas Street as a base to consolidate and spy on user information. This was apparently done in order to sniff out possible terrorist activity. There have also been other examples of federal agencies and social media websites stealing data and spying on users.
Was right, man.
And just recently, an employee at the Department of Government Efficiency allegedly unintentionally copied a social security database to an unsecure cloud, leaving the information extremely vulnerable.
It's NSA.
While Terry's theory was likely only born from an unfamiliarity with the rapidly changing landscape of the computer industry, as well as his constant paranoia about the CIA, he was able to predict the government using technological advances to spy on people, though this was likely not connected to the reason for technological advances as a whole. Additionally, some have taken to claiming that Terry foresaw the development of AI, and this stems from several of his remarks through the years. The previously referenced clips of Terry claiming the CIA wanted everyone to be cattle and that they would make them obedient through the advancement of technology, as well as some clips of Terry referencing a clash between humans or AI, usually while talking about the Terminator films, are generally pointed to.
Now, if humans have to go up against artificial intelligence, you know, if it either is too strong and it kills the humans, or it causes the humans to elevate themselves, right?
There may be a kernel of truth in the former
Dude,
claim, as it is not.
Hold on, wait, he's like spitting though. He's like actually spitting. We kind of are at war with AI a little bit right now, huh? I mean, I wouldn't say at war, but we're definitely having some issues with AI. We're definitely having some problems with it.
Far off from what some sociologists claim, as they have referenced the creation of a submissive society through things like the creation of the television or social media in the past. When examining how dependent people are on technology, and especially generative AI, for completing basic everyday tasks, one may come to the conclusion that Terry was onto something. The latter claim, apart from any reference to global warming and carbon emissions, does not seem to be rooted in any reality, and seems to mostly rely on what Terry has seen in the Terminator franchise. One of his most viral quote-unquote predictions occurred when he was using his oracle consisting of randomly generated words, and in the same burst it outputs Putin, China, virus, and election.
3 gigahertz clock, and I'm getting a random word every...
This led some to claim that, through divine knowledge or pure coincidence, Terry had predicted Russia's invasion of Ukraine, as well as some other significant geopolitical events.
I think this guy's
coming from a self-proclaimed divine prophet, this is a very interesting development, and one that could not have gained attention at the time of its recording. Whether it is through people who believe he was right about everything, or people who see him as a tortured genius with untapped potential, or even those who think he should be written off as a racist, Terry A. Davis is undeniably seeing a resurgence of popularity on the internet, as people continue to fall down the rabbit hole of his bizarre theories. It has already been established that those marveling at his programming may be due to the uninitiated coming across his claims and seeing his work. We have also established that the uptick in those writing him off as a racist is likely due to people on TikTok only being exposed to a few short clips of him. Finally, as some of Terry's vague theories have come to show a kernel of truth, there is another possible reason for people to see him as a prophet or believe his delusions. It is possible that the rise of short-form videos on social media sites, such as YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Instagram Reels, has resulted in those who have always known about Terry beginning to post clips of him. And since Terry's rants and clips are so intriguing, interest may have been sparked among users who would find themselves delving into the extensive narrative. In an increasingly conspiratorial society, as well as one with a building resentment for the government, people could also be more likely to believe Terry's theories. Additionally, with a landscape so oriented around edits consisting of a few poignant clips and music, users could find themselves presented with a few of Terry's most profound, unique, or confusing speeches, accompanied by visuals of him dancing or his interesting operating system. especially with those in the comments stating how they have fallen down his rabbit hole. This would create the perfect environment for Terry to become more popular. There is likely a combination of reasons leading to Terry's resurgence, and it could also be boiled down to the fickle nature of social media algorithms. But it is true that content regarding Terry A. Davis is becoming more mainstream.
No offense to schizos, okay? I love Terry Davis.
And this is how I became aware of him in the first place. Among those who have become newly aware of his story, there are few that would dive as deeply into the rabbit hole as myself, but I hope that I have educated viewers sufficiently on the topic, as well as shine some light on the new discourse surrounding him. I would also like to explore a few more things, namely the failure of those who have mental illnesses, which above all else is probably the most salient lesson from this tale. The mentally ill who happen to engage incessantly with the internet have not historically had favorable stories. Terry is not
One of the problems we're having with AI is whatever we have too much fun with, they nerf it. Whenever we have too much fun with it, they nerf it. I feel like AI is getting stronger though. I feel like AI is getting like just how do I put this? AI is a weird thing where I'm okay with it and I'm not. Like, I don't like, at the end of the, like, here's the thing. I don't care that people want to like use AI, but at the same time I do see like the negatives that come from like having it the way we have it currently.
Only one, but is perhaps one of the most noteworthy examples. In an aforementioned post claiming that 4chan was responsible for Terry's death, another user would appear confused at the notion. They thought 4chan was fascinated with Terry, and mistook this fascination for a genuine fondness. In response to this, the distinction was pointed out between laughing at and laughing with someone. And unfortunately, many people online were certainly laughing at Terry. A comparison is made to the circumstances surrounding Chris Chan, another mentally ill and enigmatic online figure who was unfortunate enough to amuse
don't you dare put Terry in the same realm!
His forum users.
Similarly, in that situation, trolls fed into and created delusions, ultimately resulting in Chris's mother being victimized in a disgusting way. That's not to absolve Chris of responsibility whatsoever, though their situations do share certain similarities.
A fourth user chimes in to claim that Hacker News also had a fetishistic fascination with Terry, and this could be argued for several other forums that Terry would frequent, as well as those who would later catch on to his antics. The combination of Terry's eccentric behavior, as well as his clear talent and intellect, proved to be a unique one, and one that attracted fascination from countless Redditors, programmers, and trolls, and unfortunately would end up having devastating effects on his mental health. If one wanted to make a stretch of an analogy, they could compare Terry to a Chris Chan who was actually good at drawing, though that fails to account for many details in either situation. This comparison has not eluded some members of 4chan, and he has been referred to as the CWC of G, referencing the programming board. It is a tragic situation, one in which Terry's main outlet involved the internet, and his life's work depended on spreading word of his creation. But this very act would eventually lead to the further deterioration of his mental health. In the psychopathology world, schizophrenia is somewhat unique. For many other mental disorders, there are some treatments with various effectiveness that do not depend on medication. There is a predominant culture of prescribing medication flippantly for everything amongst psychiatrists, but historically, the far and away most successful treatment for even managing schizophrenia is drugs. In Terry's video on August 13th, 2017, he references risperidol or risperidone, claiming that it made him impotent and gave him headaches, which likely contributed to him refusing to take his medication. These are actually common risks and side effects of that particular drug. However, in patients with schizophrenia, it is uncommon for just one form of treatment alone to provide effective in the long term.
So essentially, the drug he's taking is kind of pretty. I'll be honest, it's pretty fucking useless and not really a good drug, not really a good option for his schizophrenia. So he obviously is like, I don't want to fucking take this because it's all it's doing is like fucking him up, but just in different ways. Might as well just let the fucking schizophrenia take over, man.
Results have been achieved with medication. It is important for patients to have regular psychosocial treatments, such as talk therapy and social skills training. Patients with schizophrenia need daily support, and it's not uncommon for them to live with this support 24/7. Unfortunately for Terry, soon after losing the most important form of treatment, he would also lose his daily support. And how much of this is due to the internet and trolls calling his phone and pretending to be Physics Girl is unknown, but it is almost certain that it contributed. The clips of Terry blaming his father, doctors, and the CIA for Diana's lack of appearances all but confirms this. It may not have been feasible for Terry to continue living at home after his arrest, but he needed some form of support. In one way or another, the world failed Terry, a man who was able to have such intelligent and thoughtful conversations even while homeless, and who was clearly trying to process his symptoms. On the Temple OS website, Terry's family has provided links to the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation, as well as the National Alliance on Mental Illness. They also request that supporters of Terry donate to organizations working to ease the pain and suffering caused by mental illness. I would strongly encourage anyone watching to donate and to talk to someone if you are feeling unwell. The world should be a place that enables people like Terry to live a happy life.
It's okay, Bacon. It's okay, man.
Be self-aware when you find yourself unhealthy. How about that? Be aware of your health. What? No, that's not correct. If you realize you're unhealthy, now you know.
Terry is buried at the Bunkers Memory Garden Cemetery in Las Vegas. There are many who have left statements of support, as well as gifts such as flowers, pictures, and hats containing the Temple OS logo. Terry is a very confusing figure. He was insanely smart and insanely dedicated. His work has been compared to a one-man skyscraper, to someone painting the Sistine Chapel with a bobby pin. He created his own compiler and programming language and 126,000 lines of code, all by himself. And yet he...
I'll be honest, man. I'll be honest. Now, being serious for like a second. I feel like genuinely like... I'll be serious for a second. I see why people love Terry. He's clearly like just a fucking schizophrenic who... Yeah, he said the N-word a lot, blah, blah, blah. Who gives a fuck, right? He's schizophrenic. It just became a part of his vocabulary. I'll be honest. I don't blame him. Okay. I don't blame him. All right. He's got like fucking problems. And I feel like really bad for the guy, but he was clearly like a fucking genius. He was clearly like really smart, really, really, really smart. And it's like kind of sad to see how it like just deteriorates over time because of just the mental illness that he was dealing with. Cause clearly at the beginning, he seemed like actually like relatively normal. He seemed pretty, I don't want to say like normal. He still said like crazy shit, but I mean, he did seem pretty, in my opinion, like pretty normal.
Faced constant ridicule from
he was
much
smart
of his
and cool, and he was really cool. Yeah, he actually like dead ass was kind of cool.
Time online, with almost everyone dismissing his work. Terry is finally being appreciated. There are plenty that still assert that his achievements could be accomplished by any decent programmer with enough time, but the thing is that this will never be discovered. Terry's work and his story will never be replicated, and that is something that I say with the utmost confidence. However, I believe it is important to realize that affirming Terry's theories or acting as if he was not really mentally ill is not what those who genuinely care for him should do. It is the obligation of those who care about the mentally ill, as well as their therapists, not to affirm maladaptive thoughts. Not only that, but pretending as if Terry was of sound mind or predicted the future lifts responsibility from those who took advantage of him online and places it on Terry himself, or entities like the CIA, and this is not the answer. Whether
we start a cult worshipping Temple OS.
Whether it comes from better intentions or not, believing in Terry's theories and seeing him as some sort of mythical figure is the same thing those on 4chan did when they discovered him. It is essential to recognize the very real threats of mental illness while also acknowledging the positive traits Terry had. I hope those who antagonize Terry, whether they meant for the eventual result or not, learn from this situation. Maybe, with how differently people see him now, his story would have progressed differently in 2025. It is just as likely, though, that they only see him this way because of how his story ended, and that there would be just as many who would ostracize him for his extreme rhetoric, especially in today's landscape. I hope that we never see any situation that we can compare it to. People are fascinated with Terry because of the combination of his constant antics and his evident intelligence. This combination, as well as how constantly present Terry was on the internet, documenting nearly everything in his life, creates an unprecedented level of interest, and unfortunately this would end up being detrimental for him. I don't know if there will be people arguing if he is a genius or irredeemable or somewhere in between 7 years after this as well, but I would implore people to learn the whole story. I believe that if you look into it as much as I have, it's impossible to see anything but a tortured soul that deserved better.
True.
I've spent a very long time scouring through archives, trying to fill holes in the narrative, to provide a unique combination of everything that has been covered separately before, as well as take a look into the very new discourse around him. I will put the sources in the description, which include viral videos and forum threads, as well as archives barely anyone has seen. Please feel free to reference the sources and do your own research. I would like to specifically cite Temple OS Down the Rabbit Hole by Frederick Knudsen, as I heavily referenced this video in my section about Temple OS,
you're just fucking
but a number
murdering
of
him.
sources were vital in my construction of this video. I come away from this journey with a feeling of profound sadness. I wish life had treated Terry better, and while the story is extremely fascinating, it serves as a cautionary tale of mental illness and becoming too engrossed with the internet.
Love the guy. He's awesome.
I hope that Terry is in a better place now, and knows that his work and life touched the hearts of millions, despite the forces constantly antagonizing him. Rest in peace, King Terry the Terrible, God's lonely programmer.
What a beautiful send-off. What a beautiful send-off for Terry, man. What a beautiful send-off for Terry. Oh, it makes me want to cry, man. Man, it makes me want to cry, man. Oh, jeez. Well, chat. I do have some news. I'm probably gonna get off. I have football on right now, and I'm having a hard time focusing on. I hit here. I'll tell you guys this thing. I hit on one thing. I got my Jackson Dart touchdown. All right, huge hit. Gone but never forgotten. True. Huge Jackson Dart touchdown hit. But I am going to I'm gonna go take care of my football, all right? My parlay. I actually Dallas Goedert is my tight end in fantasy too, and he's having a crazy good game. So that's also huge. So I'm sorry, chat, but I'm gonna pay attention to my football. I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? I'll see you guys tomorrow. No football tomorrow. So, okay. So if we get to this point, I'll keep on going, okay? Whatever, dude. God, fuck. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye.